Fang was an ordinary small town in a northern province of Chiang Mai, situated on the banks of a river. It made a convenient stopover for river traders and passengers throughout most of the year. A few barges, rafts, and sometimes even a large sailboat could usually be found moored at Fang. But all that was long ago, before the creation of the Trial of Champions. Now, once a year, the river is crowned with boats as people arrive from hundreds of miles around, hoping to witness the breaking of an ancient tradition and see a victor in the Trial of Champions. Deep in the hillside, behind the town, lies a challenge created by a powerful baron of Fang called Succumbit, a labyrinth filled with deadly tricks, traps, and loathsome monsters from which there is only one exit. Each year, warriors and heroes come to Fang to face the Trial of Champions. Survival is unlikely, yet many take the risk. The prize is great, a purse of 10,000 gold pieces and the freedom of Chiang Mai forever. This year, you will attempt what has become known as the Walk, attracted to it for the simple fact that nobody has ever yet emerged victorious. In the morning, you see Baron Succumbit himself, with 5 others standing proudly in line, the violet scarves displayed for all to see. There are 2 bare-chested barbarians dressed in furs, a sleek elven woman with golden hair and feline green eyes, a man covered head to foot in iron-plated armor with a plumed helmet and a crested shield, and another cloaked in black robes with only his dark eyes showing between the swaths of his black face scarves. A hush falls over the crowd as Baron Succumbit steps forward holding 6 bamboo sticks. You draw one from his outstretched hand and read the word 5th. The knight enters first. He salutes the crowd before disappearing into the tunnel. He is followed half an hour later by the elf, then a barbarian, and the dark assassin. Next, it's your turn. But before embarking on your adventure, we must first determine your own strengths and weaknesses. You have in your possession a sword, a shield, and a backpack for carrying provisions for the trip. You have been preparing for your quest by training yourself in swordplay and exercising vigorously. To see how effective your preparations have been, dice will be rolled to determine your skill, stamina, and luck scores. Or, if you wish to begin your adventure immediately, you can choose between 3 ready-made adventurers. First, we'll roll for your initial level of skill. This reflects your sword skill and fighting expertise, and will be determined by rolling 1 die and adding 6.
Oh, total of 8 skill currently. Would you like any of your rerolls for that?
Yes, please.
Yeah. I would expect you not to use a reroll here, but I'll ask nonetheless.
Nah.
Would you like
Continue.
Yeah.
Next, we'll roll for your initial stamina, which represents your strength. So the higher your stamina score, the longer you will survive. This will be determined by rolling 2 dice and adding 12.
8. 20, would you like one of your 5 rerolls?
Yeah, go for it.
Sure. 8 again.
Me again.
4 rerolls.
Yeah, let's reroll one more time. Okay.
11. Fair enough.
Much better. Yeah, continue luck.
Continue. Okay.
Next, we'll roll for your initial luck, which represents how lucky an adventurer you are. Luck and magic are facts of life in the fantasy world you're about to explore. This is determined by rolling one die and adding 6.
5, not too bad. You have 3.
You know what? I'll keep that.
Yep.
You may also take a magical potion with you to aid you on your quest. Each bottle of potion contains 2 measures, so can be used twice during an adventure. You can choose from a potion of skill that restores your skill points to their initial amount, a potion of strength that restores your stamina points to their initial amount, or a potion of fortune that not only restores your luck points to their initial amount, but will also increase your initial luck score by 1 each time it's used.
Here for skill, strength, or fortune.
I'll take a skill potion.
Yep.
Lastly, before you begin your quest, you are given enough provisions for 10 meals. When you eat a meal, your stamina score will increase by 4 points. But don't forget, your stamina can never exceed the initial amounts you've just set. You have a long way to go, so use your provisions wisely. During your adventure,
This is just them
You'll
talking
end-
about the battle system.
you are playing.
Guns.
Now it is your turn to salute the crowd.
Maybe
Holding
I'll
your
have
violet
to-
scarf aloft, you take one final deep breath of cool, fresh air before turning to pass between the stone-pillared gateway into Succumbit's corridors of power to face unknown perils on the walk through the mighty Baron's Deathtrap Dungeon. The clamour of the excited spectators gradually fades
It
behind
has
you
to go there, but anyway.
as you venture deep into the gloom of the cavern. Large crystals hang from the tunnel roof at 20-metre intervals, radiating just enough soft light for you to see your way. As your eyes gradually become accustomed to the near darkness, you begin to see movement all around. Spiders and beetles crawling up and down the chiseled walls disappear quickly into cracks and crevices as they sense your approach. Rats and mice scurry along the floor ahead of you. Droplets of water drip into small pools with an eerie plopping sound which echoes down the tunnel. The air is cold, moist, and dank. After walking slowly along the tunnel for about 5 minutes, you arrive at a stone table standing against the wall to your left. On it, there are 6 boxes, one of which has your name painted on its lid.
Right. We go through the first option. The map you can check at any time. I didn't show you before because
Yeah.
filled out from the last adventure. But yeah, you can check this at any time. It'll be more needed most likely after you've played and are going back, unless you get through it perfectly first time. So, there is a box with your name on it. First main choice, open the box or continue walking north.
I'll open the box.
Yep.
The lid of the box lifts off easily, and inside you find 2 gold pieces and a note written on a small piece of parchment addressed to you. After placing the gold in your pocket, you read the message, which says, "Well done. At least you had the sense to stop and take advantage of the token aid given to you. Now I can advise you that you will need to find and use several items if you hope to pass triumphantly through my Deathtrap Dungeon. Signed, Succumvit." Memorizing the advice on the note, you tear it into tiny pieces and continue north along the tunnel, where you come to a junction. A white arrow painted on one wall points west. On the floor, you can see wet footprints made by those who entered before you. It's hard to be sure, but it looks as though 3 of them followed the direction of the arrow, while 1 decided to go east.
Join the majority west, or more of a rebel and head east?
I'll head east.
Yeah.
Ahead, you can see a large obstruction on the tunnel floor. Although it is too dark to make out exactly what it is, the wet eastbound footprints you have been following carry on towards the obstruction.
Go back to the junction and head west, or continue east? Junction.
I'll continue east.
You see that the obstruction is a large brown boulder-like object. You touch it with your hand and are surprised to find that it is soft and spongy.
Climb over the soft, spongy boulder, or slice it open with your sword.
Try climbing over it.
Yep.
You clamber onto the soft boulder, half expecting to be engulfed by it at any moment. Getting over it is difficult, as your limbs sink into its soft casing, but eventually you manage to struggle over it, relieved to be back on firm ground. You press on east, where the tunnel makes a turn to the left and heads north for as far as you can see. The footprints you are following start to peter out as the tunnel becomes gradually drier. Soon, you are beyond the dripping roof and the pools on the floor. You notice the air becoming hotter, and you find yourself panting, even though you are walking quite slowly. In a small recess on the left-hand wall, you see a section of bamboo standing on its end. Lifting it down, you see it is filled with a clear liquid. Your throat is painfully dry, and you feel a little dizzy from the heat in the tunnel.
Drink the clear liquid, or continue north?
I'm going to continue north.
Yeah.
You shake your head, trying desperately to stop yourself from blacking out. But the heat is too much for you, and you fall unconscious to the floor, wishing you had a cool drink. This will be a test of your skill. We'll roll 2 dice, and if the number rolled is equal to or less than your current skill score, you have been skillful.
Slightly
But if it's
given you have
higher,
12 skill, so
then your skill will have been found lacking.
cannot fail this.
Your immense strength and grim determination and our skillful dice roll keeps you from falling unconscious to the floor. You grit your teeth and press on resolutely, as mercifully the temperature drops rapidly and soon feels almost cool again. On the left-hand side of the tunnel is a closed door. It has a small iron plate in it, which looks like it might slide open.
Try to open the door, Try to slide the iron plate of the door or continue north.
Try to slide the iron plate.
The small plate slides open easily, and you find yourself peering into a room with a deep pit in the floor behind the door. On the opposite wall, there is a coil of rope hanging on one of 2 iron hooks.
Open the door, jump over the pit and take the rope, or continue north.
Continue north along the tunnel for now.
Ahead, you see that the tunnel turns sharply to the left. You turn a corner and almost bump straight into 2 fierce-looking orcs, armed with morning stars and wearing leather armor. You are totally unprepared for them and struggle to ready your weapons. The orcs roar, and as you draw your sword, one of them swings its morning star at you, which sinks agonizingly into your left thigh, costing you 3 stamina points. You stagger backwards, but manage to regain your balance in time to defend yourself. Fortunately, the tunnel is too narrow for both orcs to attack you at once, so you fight them, one at a time.
Right, so this is the main layout for the attack system. So your skill, their skill.
The orc is
You have the
strong,
right dice, they have the
but
right
slow,
dice.
and you're able to strike hard with your sword.
So considering you have a +7 here, I'm just going to spam through this because
You're
it shouldn't be too much trouble to
You raise your sword.
definitely defeat both these orcs.
The first orc slumps lifeless to the floor, so you turn your attention to the other.
Second orc has one higher skill.
The orc is strong, but slow, and you're able to...
Unless there's a severe bad roll.
Your
here.
shield
11.
protects you from... You raise your sword to parry.
Inside one of the orc's pockets, you find 1 gold piece and a hollow wooden tube. You put your findings in your backpack and set off west. As you walk along, droplets of water again start falling from the tunnel ceiling. Heading west, you see wet footprints made by the same boots that you followed earlier. They lead to a closed iron door in the right-hand wall of the tunnel, but do not seem to go any further.
Right, so the reason I made that noise was the 3 points of stamina that you lost there. That sort of thing from the orcs, that is the 4th random event to happen there. So you lost 3 stamina. I can't remember who got what, but I know somebody blocked with a shield and nothing happened. I think it was Kate lost her sword during that fight and had to lose 4 skill.
Okay.
And I think someone lost 1 skill during that fight, so there aren't too many random things that I've noticed. I mean, if I played it like 10 times, I've probably noticed random stuff, but that one encounter with the orcs is definitely random as to what happens. It's weird.
So there are some encounters that have a random opening
Yeah.
sequence, which can change the outcome of the fight entirely.
Yeah, I don't know if it's anything to do with you not taking the liquid or not going, or I don't know.
Okay.
It might just be a random combo of that. So anyway, open the iron door or keep going west.
I'm going to... Let's open the iron door.
Yep.
The door opens into a large chamber, where you are shocked to see one of your rivals, who has obviously met a sudden gory death. It is one of the barbarians, and he is impaled on several long iron spikes that are fixed to a frame which has sprung out of the floor. A lot of debris litters the floor, concealing a hidden tripwire which he must have stepped on releasing the spiked frame. In the far wall is an alcove, in which you can see a silver goblet standing on a small wooden table.
Walk over to search the barbarian, walk towards the alcove, or close the door and continue west.
I'll search the barbarian.
Yep.
The pouch on the barbarian's belt is empty, apart from some strange-looking dried meat wrapped in a cloth.
Eat the dried meat that you just found, leave it and walk to the alcove, or leave it and head west.
I'll leave the meat and walk over to the alcove.
Yeah.
You walk slowly over to the alcove, carefully checking the floor for any more hidden traps. You see that the goblet contains a sparkling red liquid.
Drink the lead liquid, yeah, the red liquid, or leave the chamber and continue west.
I'm gonna risk it. Drink the red liquid.
Yeah.
As you lift the goblet, it releases a sprung catch, and a dart shoots out of the wooden table leg. This will be a test of your luck.
Shit.
We'll roll 2 dice, and if the number rolled is equal to or less than your current luck score, you have been lucky. But if the roll is higher than your luck score, then your luck isn't in.
Anything but 12.
Your reflexes are sharp, and you quickly jump aside. The dart whistles past, only just missing you, and thuds into the opposite wall. You see the goblet lying on the floor, and the red liquid running away in rivulets over the grey stone. At least the goblet may be of use. So you put it in your backpack, leave the chamber, and continue west. The passage soon leads to a junction, where you notice more footprints on the floor, possibly as many as 3 pairs, heading north from the south passage. You decide to follow them to where the passage opens out into a wide cavern, which is darker but much drier. Ahead, you see the footprints gradually fade, then disappear. There is a large idol in the center of the cavern that must be 6 meters high. In its head are jeweled eyes, each as big as your fist. On either side of the idol stand 2 giant stuffed, bird-like creatures.
So this is the point and say that insta-kills are now a thing. So with that in mind, so yeah, basically from the map, either way you would have gone, you end up here.
Okay.
The first main part. So, climb the idol to take the jewels, or walk through the cave to the tunnel on the opposite wall.
I'll walk through the cave to the tunnel on the opposite wall.
Yeah.
Not much farther down the tunnel, you come to a closed door on your left. Putting your ear to the door, you listen intently but hear nothing.
Open the door, or keep walking north.
Open the door.
You enter a room which is small and completely empty. As soon as you are inside, the door slams shut behind you. Suddenly a voice booms out of nowhere, shouting, "Welcome to Deathtrap Dungeon, the ingenious killer labyrinth of my master. Adventurer, I trust you will pay your respects to my master by shouting out his name."
So do you shout "Hail, Succumvit," or shout "Succumvit is a worm"?
I will shout Succumvit as a worm.
Any specific reason, or just game?
I just like I don't know. I just feel like if someone's been like sitting in this death trap dungeon specifically for his master's entertainment, that they'd probably be resentful towards that person. So if you were to go and be like, yeah, to hell this guy, he'd probably not appreciate that as much as you understanding that his master's actually a cock who's doing this barbaric stuff for his own entertainment.
Let's see if you have chosen wisely.
Let's see.
You take a deep breath and shout, "Succumvit is a worm!" Once again, the mysterious voice calls out, only this time, to your great surprise, in a far less threatening tone. Good. My master likes those who show spirit. Take this gift to help you. It will grant you one wish, but one wish only. Farewell. A gold ring magically appears out of nowhere and lands at your feet with a gentle tinkle. You pick it up and put it on one of your fingers. The door opens and you step back into the tunnel to continue north. The tunnel twists and turns, but keeps steadily north. Ahead, you see a thin shaft of blue light streaming down from the ceiling to the floor. It sparkles and shimmers, and you can see images of laughing faces in the light.
Would you like to walk through the light or walk around the light?
I'll walk around the light.
Yeah.
You come to an arched doorway set in the right-hand wall of the tunnel. The heavy stone door is closed, but there is an iron latch and a round handle.
Try the door or continue along the tunnel.
Continue along the tunnel.
Yeah.
The tunnel ends shortly at a junction. Looking left and right, you see a narrow passage disappearing into the dim distance.
Right, here was that faces were here, and that was the second. So,
Okay.
easy choice, west or east?
Let's go east.
Yep.
You walk down the passage and soon find yourself standing at the edge of a deep, dark pit. The passage continues east on the other side of the pit. You think you could probably jump over the pit, but you are not sure. There is a rope hanging down from the ceiling over the center of the pit.
Oh, 3 options this time. Would you like to throw your shield over and jump after? Jump over the pit with everything? Or reach for the rope?
I will... Ooh, this is a tough one, actually. I will throw my shield over the pit and jump after it.
Just as you're about to release the shield and throw it over the pit, it slips from your fingers and rolls away. You are unable to catch it before it falls over the edge of the pit, clattering down its sides to the bottom. The loss of your shield reduces your fighting ability, decreasing your skill points by 1. Cursing your own clumsiness, you step forward, leap across the pit, and land safely on the other side. You waste no time, but head off, east. The tunnel makes a sudden left turn and continues north, as far as you can see. You soon arrive at a closed wooden door in the left-hand wall.
Open the door or continue going north?
I'll open the door.
Yeah.
The door opens into a large candlelit room filled with incredibly lifelike statues of knights and warriors. A white-haired old man dressed in tattered rags jumps out from behind one of the statues and starts to giggle. Though he looks like a fool, the sparkle in his eyes makes you think there is more to him In a high-pitched voice, he says, "Oh, good. Another stone for my garden. I'm glad you have come to join your friends. Now, I'm a fair man, so I'll ask you a question. If you answer correctly, I'll let you go free. But if your answer is wrong, I'll turn you to stone." He starts to chuckle again, obviously pleased with your arrival.
Would you like to wait for his question? Attack him with your sword, or make a run for the...
I'll wait for his question.
Yep.
The old man points at one of the statues, and you recognize it immediately. It is the knight who started the trial of champions. The agonized look on his face locked in stone for eternity. The old man smiles, saying, "This man weighs 100 pounds plus half his weight. How much does he weigh?" What will you answer?
This man weighs 100 pounds plus half his weight. Answer 100, 150, or 200. Couple of seconds to think about it.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if this is a trick question, because the way I'm thinking it is either it's either 100 or 150. Because if he's 100 pounds and plus half is 150, or if he weighs 100 pounds, which is plus half of his weight, does he weigh 50 pounds? And then, like, does he weigh 50 pounds? And this is gonna suck because this can miss my end right here. I'm gonna say 100 pounds.
Makes you feel any better. Several people were confused as well, and also 2 of these options are insta kills.
Okay.
So, what are you going for?
I'm going for 100 pounds.
Still smiling, the old man looks at you and says quietly, "Wrong." And before you can do anything else, he mumbles a few strange words into the air. You feel your muscles harden and your skin go taut. You start to panic, but there is nothing you can do to stop the petrification of your body. Your adventure ends here.
So that 33 minutes into recording of Fangzy Death number 1. So the good thing is there are save points. Quite
Basically at any junction or
for the most part, yes. So we will start here, and you can decide if you want to
The
go back
tunnel
in and
makes a sudden
try
left
again,
turn
or
and
move on.
continues north, as far as you can
are
see.
you just counting how many deaths I have, or are you giving me
roughly,
the-
yes. The most was... Well, I mean, there are deaths and there are also fails. I think the most was...
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. I think Axion and Kate tied it. Wasn't the end of in the ending.
Okay.
Open the door or keep going north.
Yeah, we'll just open it again. I'm going to try this again.
Okay. So wait for his question.
Yeah.
The old man points.
The riddle once again. This man weighs 100 pounds plus half his weight. I assume you don't want to answer 100 again, so your choices are 150 or 200.
As stupid as it sounds, I'm going to answer 200. Because I feel like a 100 plus half his weight is just too easy.
Going for 200 here. Yeah?
Yeah.
Right.
Logically, it should be 150.
No, well,
I don't know.
We're going to hit 200. 200 is correct. Because the way the question is worded, If you take away the first part of £100 and you take half the weight thing, he starts at 200. Half his weight is 100, plus the original 100.
Right, okay.
So you avoided a second
Still
death
smiling.
here.
The old man looks at you and says,
Most of us said 150 to begin with.
Well done, stranger. You have answered correctly.
Because we had
I
just
wish you
sinned
good
100
fortune
and then plus half of 100.
During the rest
Made
of the
100.
trial of champions. And to this end, I shall increase your powers.
He then mutters a few more unintelligible words, and you feel a powerful surge soar through your body, increasing your skill, stamina, and luck by 1. You bid the old man farewell
Any higher, but
and
your
leave his
stamina
room
is
to
back up
continue
by 1,
north
and your
along
health is
the
back to full.
passage. Only a few meters further down the passage, you see another closed door in the left-hand wall. The letter X is scratched into its center panel. Putting your ear to the door, you listen intently, but can hear nothing.
Open the new door. Oh. Down there, that's fair. So open the door or head north.
Let's open the door.
Yep.
The door opens into a large room. Looking around, you see an alcove in the west wall. In the middle of the room, sitting in the chair, is the skeleton of an armed warrior, possibly a contestant from years gone by. The skeletal fingers of its right hand grip a crumpled parchment.
Take the parchment from the skeleton or walk over to the alcove.
I'll walk over to the alcove first.
First.
Or, yeah, well, if it gives me the option second, like next. Or, wait, the alcove's in the same room, right? I did hear that right, didn't I?
Well, that sort of leads.
Oh, okay, right, okay, next room.
So usually it's do action in room or move.
Or move on, okay, right. I'll take the parchment from the skeleton then.
That seems reasonable. Nothing's going to happen.
Touching the parchment
No, absolutely not, hopefully.
has precisely the effect you had feared. The skeleton lurches forward,
Oh, who could have seen?
and rising from its chair in a series of jerky
Not me.
movements, raises its sword to strike you.
Oi.
Lunging sideways, you draw your sword to defend yourself.
Skellington has
Attack, yeah.
The
skills.
skeleton is strong, but slow. You swing your sword, which smashes into its leg.
Yep.
You dodge to the side
decent
as the
roll, but-
warrior swings its sword.
Still.
You kick out, knocking its legs out from under it.
And attack 3.
You run around the
Yep.
jerking skeleton, smashing your sword into its arm. Once again, you reach for the parchment, only this time lying amidst a
Yeah.
pile of broken
Minus
bones.
2 now. Any provisions?
Unfolding it, you see a map of a room with a drawing of a hideous creature inside it. Beneath the monster is a rhyme, which reads, "Should you meet the manticore, of its tail beware. Shield yourself against the spikes flying through the air." You fold up the piece of parchment and put it in your backpack, repeating the rhyme over and over to yourself. You walk across to the alcove. At the back of the alcove are some steps leading down into a cellar. Cobwebs brush your face as you descend. The cellar ceiling is quite low, and the floor is strewn with debris. In the middle of the wall opposite you is an archway, which leads into another crystal-lit tunnel. There are large mushrooms growing on the debris to your right.
Step through the archway or stop to eat some of the mushrooms that are growing.
Or I'll step through the archway, because one is not prone to eating random mushrooms in a random tunnel that I'm having to go through because of some arsehole's dungeon for fun.
The tunnel
enough.
continues west for several hundred meters, finally ending at some steps leading up to a closed trapdoor. You climb the steps slowly, hearing muffled voices above you. In the dim light, you can see that the trapdoor is not locked.
Knock on the trapdoor or bust through the trapdoor with your sword drawn.
I'll knock on the trapdoor.
Yep.
You hear footsteps and suddenly the trapdoor is thrown back. For a few seconds you are completely blinded by the bright light from the room above and do not see the goblin thrust in his spear downwards or hear his sadistic laughter as the point pierces your neck. Your adventure ends here.
That is death to 41 minutes of recording.
The
Damn
tunnel
it.
continues.
So would you like to knock on the trapdoor or bust through the trapdoor? Sword drawn.
I'm gonna knock on the trapdoor. No, I'm not. I'm bursting the trapdoor with my sword drawn. I want to
You
die
throw the
again.
trapdoor open
That would have
and run
counted
up
as
the
death
steps
3.
into a bright,
I know.
lantern-lit room. Two goblins are sharpening their short swords on a stone set in the middle of the floor. You catch them momentarily off guard, but they quickly recover and both rush forward to attack you. A point of note here, adventurer. Because of the shape of the room, both goblins will have a separate attack on you in each attack round. However, here your attack will only be effective on one of the goblins. Against the other, you must still use your attack strength in a normal way. But even if your attack would have been effective, you will not wound it. It will just count this as though you have defended yourself. However, if its attack strength is greater, it will have wounded you in the normal way.
So this is the kind of attack I was mentioning earlier. Now you have two separate. So
Okay. Yeah.
first goblin. this
You
will count
hurl
as an
yourself
attack.
at your enemy,
One of the-
fists
one out of
flailing,
3, sorry.
and land a stunning blow.
However, now against the second goblin, even if you do win,
You both
which
swing for each other, and in the confusion,
it
both
counts as
miss.
a draw.
Right.
Like
First
first
goblin
goblin again.
you thrust your sword, and you clearly damage the
Again, they're
creature.
both 5 skills.
Yeah. So
Really
it's
going to be a thing.
You lunge at
I mean,
the
unless
creature's
they're all
stomach with your sword drawn.
two like
The
snake
creature
eyes.
whips around,
Yeah,
parrying
I'm
your
probably
blow.
gonna win the fight.
Neither of you are harmed.
And then third
Your
on the first
enemy
goblin,
is
so
strong,
that-
but slow, and screams in pain as your sword sinks into his leg.
So now these 3 will count against the second goblin.
You hurl yourself at your enemy, fists flailing, and land a stunning blow.
Again,
You thrust your sword, and you clearly damage the creature.
and last attack.
Your
Oh,
enemy
negative
is strong,
guys.
but slow, and screams in pain as your sword sinks into his leg. Triumphant in one of your toughest battles to date, you see that the only furniture in the goblin's room is a table, 2 chairs, and a cupboard on the wall. There are 2 closed doors, one in the west wall and the other in the north wall.
So 3 options again. You can open the cupboard, open the west door, or open the north door.
Go open the cupboard.
The cupboard contains a wooden mallet and 10 iron spikes, which you put in your backpack while wondering which door to open.
Into items, but the question still stands: west door or north door?
Let's go west.
The door opens into another tunnel. Walking west, you soon arrive at another door in the north wall.
Yeah, so we can open a door or continue west.
Let's continue west.
Yep.
The tunnel takes a sharp turn and you find yourself in a sort of gallery lined with mirrors for some 20 meters. A human skeleton appears to be pulled halfway through the mirror along the right-hand wall. Suddenly, a grotesque being with 4 arms and 4 screaming faces emerges from the mirror, barring your way ahead. It walks slowly towards you, each arm outstretched to grab you. It is a mirror demon from another dimensional plane, come to take your spirit.
Oh, okay. I will slightly spoil something. I've never seen this first option. That is because you have the Ring of Wishes. So, not to spoil anything, but you can make a wish, try to smash the mirrors, or attack the mirror demon with your sword.
You know what? Just make a wish.
Yeah. I have yet to see.
You rub your magic ring and wish for the mirror demon to be transported back to its own world, never to return. Still advancing towards you, it starts to shimmer and fade away, vanishing completely just before it reaches you. Your quest continues north.
That's cool, you don't have to do that entirely.
In front of you are 2 flights of stone steps separated by a banister of rat skulls.
Hand steps or the right hand?
Let's go left.
Yeah.
Treading carefully, you slowly make your way up the steps. You soon reach the top without mishap and continue along the new tunnel, which takes the sharp turn right. After 100 meters in the tunnel, you come to a junction. Looking left, you see the dead bodies of 2 orc guards. At least one of your rivals in the Trial of Champions must still be ahead of you. A quick search of the bodies produces nothing apart from a necklace of teeth hanging around the neck of one of the orcs.
Take the necklace and wear for yourself, or set off north with it.
I'll take it. Wear the necklace.
Yeah.
The necklace is an amulet of strength, which adds 1 skill point and 1 stamina point.
Okay.
Pleased with your find, you continue your quest north. The tunnel soon ends at a junction. Standing there alone and wondering which way to go is one of your rivals. It is one of the barbarians. You call out to him, but at first he does not answer. He merely stares at you coldly, his hands firmly gripping his axe. You walk up to him and ask which way he is heading. He grunts his reply, saying that he is going west, and you may go with him if you wish.
Head west with the barbarian, or decline his offer and head east.
I will... I'll head west with the barbarian.
Yeah.
Although you are slightly uneasy in each other's company, knowing that there can only be one winner in the Trial of Champions, you are both content to share in the benefits of a temporary alliance. And you begin to tell each other of your exploits so far, of the monsters and traps encountered and the dangers overcome. Walking along, you soon come to the edge of a wide pit. It is too deep and dark to see to the bottom. The barbarian suggests he lowers you to the bottom with his rope, saying he has a torch which he can light for you to use.
Accept the barbarian's offer, or instead offer to lower him down first, or suggest that you both jump over the pit instead.
Offer to lower him down if he's so eager to investigate the pit.
Enough?
The barbarian, who tells you he is called Throm, ties the rope around his waist, giving you the free end. As he lights the torch, you see a look of distrust in his eyes. Slowly, he climbs over the edge of the pit, while you brace yourself and take the strain of the rope. As you lower him little by little, you see the smooth sides of the pit illuminated by Throm's torch. He finally reaches the bottom and calls up to you, saying that there is another tunnel running north. He tells you to secure the rope around a rock protruding from the edge of the pit and lower yourself to the bottom.
Stay with the barbarian and head down and north. Or abandon the barbarian by jumping over the pit.
I'll stay and head north.
Yep.
After tying the rope around the rock, you lower yourself slowly to the bottom of the pit. Throm retrieves his rope by shaking it off the rock, and you set off together down the new tunnel. On a stone ledge in the tunnel wall, you see 2 dusty leather-bound books. Throm grunts his contempt for the written word, urging you to leave the books and hurry on.
Classic barbarian. Would you like to open the red leather book, the black leather book, or continue north?
I'll open the black one first. If it lets me
The
open
book
two of them.
pages are sealed together, but a small hole has been cut out in the middle of them, just large enough to hold a small corked bottle containing a clear liquid. You show it to Throm, who holds up his hand, indicating that he does not want you to come anywhere near him with it. His distrust of things unknown is strongly evident.
Drink the liquid. Rub the liquid into you. Leave it and open the red book. And
I'll open the red book.
if you open this, you don't have these. Pretty sure.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Okay.
I'll open the red book.
As you open the book, it immediately begins to disintegrate, the pages turning to dust in your hands. You manage to keep a few fragments and read the handwritten script. The book appears to be about monsters, and from what you can make out, it contains a full description of a monster called the Blood Beast. It is a horrific, bloated creature with tough, spiny skin and facial blisters which burst open to become mock eyes, evolved to hide the Blood Beast's only weak spot, the real eyes. Blood beasts usually dwell in pools of fetid slime which give off a poisonous gas so strong that it alone can easily knock people unconscious. The blood beast, although too bulbous to haul itself out of its slime pool, has a long and vicious tongue which it wraps around its victims before it drags them into its pool. As the helpless and still living victim's flesh decomposes in the vile slime, the blood beast will feed on it. You tell Throm about the grotesque blood beast. He merely shrugs his shoulders and tells you to get going. Setting off, you continue your journey north with Throm. The tunnel turns sharply to the right, continuing east for as far as you can see. Throm stops and tells you to halt as well. He turns his head slowly from side to side, listening. I hear footsteps coming down the tunnel towards us, he whispers. Draw your sword. You both crouch down to hide in the shadows, and not a minute too soon. For a moment later, you see the silhouette of 2 armed guards. Throm jumps up and dashes forward, screaming a loud battle cry. They are 2 cave trolls. Throm attacks the first one with his battle axe, and you run to his aid to attack the second.
Classic barbarian running in. There you see this one has
A plus
10
10.
skills,
Yeah.
so rolls need to
You
be
hurl yourself at your
Hey,
enemy.
rolls need to be good,
Fists
but then they
flailing.
roll
But
sneak
yeah,
eyes.
it rolls
And
snake
land
eyes. That's always
stunning
good for
blow.
me.
Good times.
You drop to the ground,
Wins the roll, but
sweeping away the troll's legs.
Mhm.
It howls as its head hits the hard ground.
and attack 3.
Mhm.
You drop to the ground,
You lost
grabbed
on
the
the dice,
creature,
but,
Yes.
and ran its
overall.
head hard
Nice.
into the wall. You look to the left and see Throm standing over the cave troll he has slain. Blood is pouring out from a deep cut in his shoulder, but it does not seem to worry him. You search the bodies of the cave trolls, but find nothing apart from a bone ring on a leather cord hanging round the neck of one of them. The ring is engraved with a symbol which Throm recognizes. He explains that it must have belonged to druids of the north, and that an ancient talisman such as this will increase your powers if your body is able to accept it.
Put the ring on, or continue east?
Continue east.
The tunnel leads into a damp cavern with a high ceiling and rock-strewn floor. Long and wet, teeth-like stalactites hang down threateningly. Their constant dripping creates milky pools on the floor. The tunnel carries on through an archway carved in the shape of a demonic mouse.
Search the chamber or head straight for the
Search the chamber.
You walk around the cavern, but find nothing of interest. Throm calls out behind you, saying that he has found a leather pouch under a pile of rocks. Opening the pouch, he laughs out loud as a tiny mouse runs through his fingers and scurries off into the crevice behind two boulders. Suddenly, you hear the sound of cracking rock above you and look up to see stalactites breaking off from the roof. Throm's booming laugh, which still echoes through the chamber, has made the stalactites vibrate and break off. You yell at Throm to run through the archway as the stalactites start to crash to the floor. This will be a test of your luck. Despite the stalactites crashing all around you manage to dash through the archway without injury. You look around and see Throm thundering towards you, one arm held over his head for protection. He dashes into the tunnel and leans against the cold wall, panting heavily, apologizing for starting the rockfall, and offers you his hand to shake. You tell Throm that maybe he should use sign language in future, even for laughing. You both smile and head east once more.
Yeah, of course.
The tunnel ends at a large oak door. Throm wastes no time in testing the handle and is somewhat surprised to find the door unlocked. He pushes it open and walks into a torch-lit chamber. Sitting alone on an ornate chair is a dwarf who bids you enter. As you do so, the oak door swings shut behind you. Adventurers, you have done well to get this far, says the dwarf in a deep voice. However, as you both know, there can only be one winner in the Trial of Champions. As Trial Master, it is my duty to Baron Circumvit to let only the most able continue. Therefore, I must devise a test of wits and strength to eliminate one of you. Please do not attempt to dispose of me. It will be utterly pointless, for, as you can see, there is no obvious way out of this chamber, and only I know where the hidden exit lies. Know if you would care to decide between you who will go first. I shall make the necessary preparations. You look at Throm, suddenly angry that your effective partnership might come to an end. He leans over and whispers in your ear that you should try to kill the dwarf and worry about the exit later.
Join Throm in attacking the dwarf, or persuade Throm to go through the test.
I'll persuade Throm to go through the dwarf's test.
You tell Throm that there is no point in killing the dwarf, as you will never find your way out of the chamber alone. You argue that an opportunity of tricking the dwarf might arise later, once you have found the exit from the chamber. So you intend to go through with the dwarf's test. You tell the dwarf that you are ready, and he beckons you to follow him, telling Throm to wait for his return. A secret door opens in the chamber wall, and you follow the dwarf into a small circular room. He closes the door behind you and hands you 2 bone dice, telling you to throw them onto the floor. You roll a 6 and a 2, a total of 8. The dwarf asks you to roll them again, but this time you must predict whether the total will be the same, less, or more than the 8.
Oh, a game of chance. Will you choose less, more, or the same?
I'm gonna go less than 8.
Well, statistically, you've got a better chance, and 7 is the... Oh, that was almost
that
an
was
8.
close.
For guessing correctly. He tells you that you must now progress to the second stage of the test. He reaches for a wicker basket and tells you that a snake is held within it. He tips the basket over, and the snake drops onto the floor. It is a cobra, and it rears up in the air, ready to strike. The dwarf tells you that he wishes to test your reactions. Barehanded, you must grasp the cobra below its head, avoiding its deadly fangs. You crouch down on the floor, tensing yourself for the moment to seize it. This will be a tough test of your skill.
Not really, because...
With lightning speed, you thrust your hand out and grip the cobra just below its open mouth. You lift it up, and with your arm outstretched, you dangle it in front of the dwarf. He doesn't flinch, but says in his calm, expressionless way,
"Please put the cobra back in the basket and prepare for the final part of the test. Follow me."
Follow me.
You do what he says and follow him back into the chamber, where Throm is pacing up and down, obviously ill at ease. You wave to him while the dwarf opens a second secret door and tells you to walk on through and wait for him. Again you comply, and you find yourself in another circular room, although this one resembles a small arena. The floor is covered with sand, and a small balcony runs around the arena wall. Opposite the secret entrance you came in through is an ominous-looking wooden door. Suddenly you hear a shout, and you look up to see the smiling dwarf standing on the balcony. He throws 2 pieces of paper down to you. On one of them, the words, "No crop is," are written. On the other, "Ruin Moat." In his ever-calm voice, he says,
If you rearrange the letters of the words, you will find the names of 2 creatures. You may choose which one to fight in my arena of death.
Can you identify the creature by rearranging the letters?
So, have you figured out either of these already, or would you like a couple of seconds? Anagram of no crop is Runmo. Or you can't
Fight the
identify.
anagram of no crop is, because I would like to fight a scorpion over a minotaur. Thank you very much.
He thinks he knows both of them. Well,
You call out to the dwarf, telling him to send in the scorpion because you are ready to fight. Slowly, the wooden door rises, and a huge, grotesque black scorpion squeezes underneath it and enters the room.
Oh, that's a lot
You
bigger
draw
than I
your
thought it would
sword
be.
in readiness and prepare to fight the sinister
you're
creature
expecting just
with
to be
its
tiny.
huge pincers
I
and
was kind
deadly
of hoping
sting.
it'd just be a tiny scorpion, like a
The
normal
scorpion will
sized
attack you
scorpion.
with both
Yeah, so
pincers,
special
and you
thing.
must treat each pincer as a separate creature, as though you were fighting 2 creatures. Each pincer has its own skill level and will attack you separately in each attack round. You can only fight 1 pincer in each attack round, attacking it as in a normal battle, But against
So
the
the
other
same as the
pincer,
goblins.
you
Yeah,
must
same
still
as the
attack
goblins,
in
got
the
it.
normal way.
Second pincer won't
But
count
you are
until the
not
first
wounded,
one's
even if
dead.
your
Yeah,
attack
got it.
strength is greater. You must count this as though you have just fended off its blow. Of course, if its attack strength is greater than yours, it will have wounded you in the normal way.
Pincers have 10 skills, so
Ooh,
we go.
this is going to be interesting.
The scorpion swings its
Roll
huge,
start off.
venomous tail above its head. You step aside as it smashes into the floor, and you land an attack from the side.
so this
The scorpion swings
is
its
a
tail at
drop.
you, but you are fast enough
Yep.
to roll out of the way.
Down. Attack 2.
Yep.
You try to run around the
That is
side of the
loss,
creature,
so
but it
That
grabs
is a
your
loss.
arm,
stamina gone.
throwing you hard into
Right,
the
cool.
wall.
Second pincer, which will
Yep.
not really count.
The scorpion
yeah.
charges at you with its pincers snapping.
It's
You're
the
able
first
to
I've
jump
taken in any
quickly
kind of
enough to
combat so
avoid
far.
the sharp points.
And the last of first pincer.
The swinging, venomous tail is a formidable
Another
weapon,
loss.
Loss.
and
yeah.
you
So
shriek
now
as it sinks into your arm.
it's 5 HP. So second pincer attacks.
Your speed is
Roll.
improving. You
Mine's
run
6 now,
directly
actually,
at
pretty
the
sure. It's not
scorpion
24, I believe.
and slice at its pincer as you run
no, your
by.
stamina doesn't past its max.
Does it not? Okay.
The scorpion
Good
takes a
roll.
run at you.
Good roll.
Its speed is impressive,
Right.
but you
Oh, yeah, it's
jump
pretty
aside,
max, yeah.
landing a heavy blow on its back.
And last attack.
The scorpion swings
so
its
that's
huge,
someone-
venomous tail above its head.
Oh yeah, so it is. Yeah.
You step
the
aside as
roll,
it
but
smashes
one
into the
over
floor,
skill.
and you
Yeah.
land an attack from the side.
Plus 2
The
skill.
dwarf calls down from the balcony, congratulating you on your victory. He throws the sack down into the arena and tells you to relax and regain your strength for the final part of the test. Then he walks off, saying he will return in about 10 minutes. You open the sack and find a jug of wine and a cooked chicken.
Eat and drink wine and chicken from the dwarf, or sit down and await his return.
I'll eat and drink the dwarf's offerings.
Yep.
The food and drink are excellent, and you feel much better, gaining 2 more stamina points. Fully satisfied, you sit down and await the
minus
dwarf's return.
Mm-hmm.
After about 20 minutes, the dwarf reappears on the balcony. He calls down to you, saying,
Well, I do have an interesting problem on my hands. Prepare to fight your next opponent.
The wooden door rises once again, and you are surprised to see a familiar face. It is Throm. He is cut and badly bruised and doesn't seem to recognize you. He is clearly delirious as he staggers forward with his axe raised to attack you. The dwarf laughs and says,
The cobra bit him, but he has the strength of an ox and managed to carry on, even though most men would have died. Now you must fight him to decide finally which of you will continue the trial of champions.
You shout abuse at the dwarf, protesting the cruelty of such a contest. He merely laughs, and you have no option but to defend yourself against poor Throm. Despite his wounds, he is immensely strong.
We have to fight our barbarian friend. Also
Ah,
has
well.
10 kills. So.
You drop to the ground, sweeping
stop.
away Throm's legs.
Mm-hmm.
You hate it as he howls as his head hits the hard ground.
Mm-hmm.
Throm swings at your head.
Oh, a draw,
Thankfully,
Draw.
you duck just in time.
which is good. Don't take any damage on.
Throm grabs you by the throat
That, however, is a
and
loss.
manages to half choke you
Mm-hmm.
before you get a chance to push him off.
Two you got from the
Exhausted
range.
by your long duel, you fall to your knees as you stare at Throm's still body. A bitter loathing for the dwarf fills your heart. Somehow, you will avenge Throm. Engulfed in your hatred, You do not notice the dwarf enter the arena until he is standing right in front of you, a loaded crossbow aimed at your chest.
I know what you are thinking,
He says calmly.
but remember that only I know the way out of here. Get up. It's time for you to leave.
Once on your feet, the dwarf indicates that you should walk ahead of him. Back in the chamber, he crosses over to the northern wall and pushes against one of its stones. A door-like section of the wall swings out, opening into another crystal-lit tunnel. With his crossbow still aimed at your chest, the dwarf smiles, saying,
Good luck.
Walk straight into the tunnel or swing a punch at the dwarf?
I'll just walk straight into the tunnel. He's got a crossbow pointing at me. I'll fucking
the
die
tunnel
if I do that.
soon divides into two. You hear a buzzing sound coming from the western branch.
Walk west, investigate the buzzing noise, or continue north?
No, let's go west and take a look.
Yep.
There is a large panel of glass in the left-hand wall of the tunnel. Through it, you can see a bright, torch-lit room teeming with giant insects of every possible description. Bees, wasps, beetles, ticks. Even the mites are over 6 centimeters long. The noise is threatening. In the middle of the room, a jeweled crown lies on top of a small table. What looks like a large diamond is set in the middle of the crown.
Break the glass and try to snatch the crown. Continue west, or return and head north. At this point, so this is a little bit
Yeah. Let's
picked out, and you
let's break the glass and try and snatch the crown.
yeah.
You smash the glass with the hilt of your sword, making a hole big enough to climb through. Immediately, the giant insects start swarming and jumping towards you. Wasting no time, you clamber into the room, grabbing one of the lit torches to defend yourself. The fire keeps most of the insects at bay, but by the time you have snatched the crown and climbed back into the corridor, some of them have stung you. We'll roll 1 die and add 2 to the total to decide how many stings you have suffered, reducing your stamina by 1 for each sting. The giant insects do not chase you, preferring the bright light of the room they are in. You examine the crown and see with disgust that it is merely painted iron, and the diamond is just glass and totally worthless. You throw it on the ground in a rage
Fucker.
and wonder which way to go next.
Head west or return and head north.
Let's return to the junction and head north.
Yeah.
The tunnel leads into a dark chamber, covered in thick cobwebs. Clawing your way through them, you trip over a wooden casket.
Open the casket.
Open it.
The casket opens easily, and inside there is a black velvet bag containing a large pearl, gaining you 1 luck point. After putting the pearl in your pocket, you press on
So
through the cobwebs.
Oh yeah, I see that.
You
shiny
reach the
pearl.
far wall of the chamber and see 2 doors.
Okay.
Doors.
Left and
we'll
right.
open the door to your left or to your right.
Question: can I actually eat my provisions at this point
anytime,
as
yeah.
well?
Yeah,
Cool.
I'd-
Can I eat
I'd-
2?
Yeah, 1 and 2.
I should
Yep.
pop me back up to full.
Yep, you have
And
stamina. Oh, and yeah,
cool.
so you
I will open the door to my right.
to the right. Yep.
The door opens into another tunnel running north. Ahead you see 2 stone fountains, one on either side of the tunnel, carved in the shape of cherubs. Water spouts from their mouths and cascades into small bowls at their feet.
So you have a choice to drink from either the fountain on your left, on your right, or to leave and north.
I'll drink from the fountain on my right.
Right, okay.
The cool water is refreshing and comes from a source which has been sprinkled with pixie dust, gaining you 1 stamina point and 2 skill points.
Totally pointless
Useless.
to have full. So drink from the other fountain, or continue north?
Continue north. I'm not going to push my luck.
North?
Leaning against the left-hand wall of the tunnel, you see a pair of bamboo stilts. They are securely chained, and you see a label attached to a padlock, which reads, "The price of these stilts is 1 gold piece. Place the coin in the slot to release the lock."
Buy the stilts for 1 gold, or keep walking north.
Buy the stilts.
There is a slot in the padlock into which you place the coin. Immediately the lock clicks apart, and you are able to unchain the stilts. You place them on your shoulder and once again set off north. A little farther on, you come to a section of the tunnel which is covered with thick green slime. It looks threatening, so you decide to test it first with a piece of cloth. The slime's corrosive jelly burns the cloth instantly, leaving no trace. You climb onto your stilts and take a few tentative steps across the floor. Your confidence grows, and you soon feel able to tackle the walk across the slime. Smoke rises from the base of the stilts as the slime starts to burn them away. You plod stolidly on and finally reach firm ground again. Unfortunately, the stilts are still covered in slime, and you are forced to dump them. Setting off north, you come to a junction.
Line bit there. So, easy choice, west or north?
Let's go west.
You walk no more than 3 meters west before you hit an invisible barrier. It starts fizzing and crackling, and you are thrown back. You have hit an energy screen, losing you 1 stamina point. There is no alternative but to walk back to the junction and head north. You soon arrive at a double door in the left-hand wall. You listen at the door but hear nothing. You try the handle, it turns, and you open the left door slightly and peer through the crack. An armed warrior is lying face down on the floor of a bare room with smooth walls and a low ceiling. He is presumably dead, for he makes no movement, even when you call out to him. A large jewel, perhaps a diamond, lies just beyond his outstretched arm.
Enter the room, take the jewel, or continue north?
Enter the room and take the jewel.
You finally reach the warrior's body, but as soon as you
Death
touch
number
the
3.
jewel, both it and the warrior vanish into thin air. You hear the door slam behind you, followed by a sudden, ominous rumbling above you. You look up and see the ceiling start to lower. You run to the door to try to escape, but it is locked, and there is no handle on the inside. The ceiling gradually drops until you are forced to lie on the ground, trying to halt the ceiling's progress with your hands and feet. But it is a hopeless task, and you are crushed to death in the stone vice. If only you'd found a potion that allowed you to detect traps like this.
Your adventure ends here. So that was Death 3 at 1 hour and 20 minutes of time of recording. So we shall... Yeah.
You soon arrive.
So would you like to enter the room and take the Joe? Or continue north?
Nah, let's go north this time.
Okay.
The tunnel continues north for quite a distance before coming to a dead end. The mouth of a chute protrudes from the western wall, and it appears to be the only alternative to turning back.
So I will point this out now. The chute, there are 5 different ways. Near this part there are 5 different ways, and all of them end with a chute, so you get to the sort of section of the game. But I'll
You decide to risk it and climb into the chute. You slide gently down and emerge into a room, landing on your back. As soon as you stand up, you are confronted by the most repulsive sight you have ever laid eyes on. There in front of you, wallowing in a circular pool of fetid slime, is a bulbous creature too horrible to be believed. Its body is green and covered all over with fearsome-looking spikes. Its face is a mass of crimson blisters, one of which suddenly bursts to reveal yet another of its many sinister, all-seeing eyes. A narrow path runs around the edge of the pool and leads into another tunnel in the far wall. Remembering the description of the vile blood beast and the warning about the toxic gas rising from its pool, you cover your mouth with your sleeve and step forward with your sword drawn, wary of the blood beast's tongue. As you step around the side of the pool, it rolls forward and flicks out its tongue. But you are ready for it and cleave it with one swipe of your sword. The beast howls in pain and stretches forward frantically, trying to clasp you between its blood-filled jaws. You start hacking at its hideous face in an attempt to pierce its real eyes.
White. And as you'll see,
Ooh, it's equal.
12
So
skills.
it's literally just a matter of dice
Again,
rolls.
Yep.
the bulbous
First
creature
one's good.
strikes for you with its hideous fangs. You jump clear of them, striking out and smashing one clean out of its hideous mouth.
Uh,
The creature
Is he a
reaches for
loss?
you with its mouth from the pool. You step back to avoid it, but slip on its fetid slime. It sinks its teeth into your ankle, costing you precious stamina.
and attack 3.
The blood beast's
it's
tail
awful.
whips around
Oh,
you.
damn.
You duck,
Finally, the
but
snake
not
eyes on
quickly
your
enough, and it punctures your arm deeply. Your blade strikes one of the blood beast's real eyes with devastating effect. It slumps back into its pool, thrashing about in a frenzy. You seize the opportunity and run around the side of the pool to the tunnel exit. The tunnel leads into a large room, its ceiling supported by several marble pillars. As you enter the room, you see a strange beast to your right. It has the body of a lion with dragon-like wings attached to it, but its head is like that of an old bearded man. You recognize the beast. It is a manticore. Taking heed of the warning poem you took from the skeleton warrior, you watch out for its tail, which sprouts a profusion of sharp spikes at its tip, thick and hard as iron bolts. Knowing that the manticore will fire the spikes in its tail at you, you run for cover behind one of the pillars. Before you reach it, a volley of spikes flies through the air, and one of them sinks into your arm, costing you 2 stamina points and making you wish you still had a shield.
You still had
You
the
waste
shield
no
there.
time. and attack the manticore with your sword before it has time to unleash more of its deadly spikes.
And the manticore has 11 skill.
The giant creature
cool.
whips its spiked tail at you, firing more spikes.
As
You
now
duck
see,
and
earlier
roll,
fights
quickly
might have
slicing
been
a chunk from
5
its
and
tail,
6 skill, but
passing close to you.
Yeah, it's getting more and more difficult.
Back to,
You seize an
draw.
opportunity
Oh, no,
to
I
attack
won.
the creature's
I
back
win
leg
by 1.
and manage to
Roll
bury
the
your
dice.
sword deep into its thigh.
And attack 3.
You lunge at the
Oh,
creature's stomach
to
with
win.
your sword drawn.
Good rolls there, a 9.
Tries to move. You land a powerful blow. As you are wiping the manticore's blood from your sword, you are surprised to see a small man jump out from behind one of the marble pillars. He is dressed in a tight-fitting green tunic and looks quite harmless, although you are wary of the way he is holding an opaque glass ball with a shimmering green light. "Greetings," he says cheerfully. "My name is Igbot, the gnome, and I am the trial master for your final test. Needless to say, my magical powers are great, so you should not try to attack me. You may have learnt, during your quest, that gems play an essential part in the trial of champions. The iron door in front of you is the victory exit, but there is only one way of opening it. 3 gems have to be put into the lock mechanism in the correct order. Each gem radiates a unique energy, which will trigger the mechanism. If you do it correctly, that is. But first, we need the correct gems. First, you will need an emerald." The gnome shakes his head and says, "I am afraid that you have failed the trial of champions. Baron Succumvit's Deathtrap Dungeon will keep its secrets for another year, as you will not be allowed to leave here. You are appointed my servant for the rest of your days to prepare and modify the dungeon for future contestants. Perhaps, in another life, you will succeed."
Your adventure technically ends here. That is fail 1. Not so much a
Okay.
death as you survive to the end. So, yes. There are, as it showed, 6 jewels in total, and 3 of them are needed. You now know one of them being the emerald. So yes, there is a lot of this to go back through.
Yeah, I see that.
Any specific place you would like to go back to, or would you like sort of a guiding help at this point to go through it?
I'm just trying to think now.
Well.
Yeah. Okay, because I can't remember if I had the pearl before or after we got to that statue.
Pearl was... I think the pearl was about here.
It was about
in the
there.
casket.
Yeah, that's right. Shit, this is going quite far back actually.
Of course, most of the stuff up here.
Yeah.
We'll see this. But if you know that the pearl's here, okay, and nothing you can really do past this part,
Probably
then
won't
it's
need the
really
pearl.
more. Well, I mean, there are other ways you could have gone here that might have given you stuff that would have led you to go that way. But separately, there might have been other things that would have let you go another way.
Yeah.
The problem is, right now, you only know one of the 3 gems that you need.
Yeah. I don't know where that is. Let's go back down to the large room that had, I think it was that one there, the with the large
Back at the start of the...
yeah, the statue, yeah.
So yes, everything will replace. You still have full...
yeah.
Yeah. And you'll still have
full
your shield at
precision
this.
and yeah.
So,
Do I still have my shield at this point? Or did I lose it beforehand?
the shield you lose at the pit, which...
The pit,
Oh.
yeah. Okay, so yeah,
But
still
do
have
remember
it.
that you have lost all the items.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Okay.
Alright, let's try this.
There is a large idol in the center of the cavern that must be 6 meters high. In its head are jeweled eyes,
Jeweled
each as big
eyes.
as your fist. On either side of the idol stand 2 giant stuffed, bird-like creatures.
How about this? Oh yeah, the tubes. From
Chewing the goblet.
Goblets. The goblets.
Right, let's
the
climb
idols.
the idol to take the jewels. Let's try this.
Yeah.
The idol is very smooth and will be difficult to climb. Some rope would have been ideal for this task, but alas, you don't have
Only
any.
there was some point we could have...
So slowly and carefully, you begin to climb the idol. You're about to grab hold of its large ear when suddenly your foot slips. We'll need to check how lucky you are. We'll roll 2 dice, and if the number rolled is equal to or less than your current luck score, you have been lucky. But if the number rolled is higher than your current luck score, you have been unlucky. You just managed to grab the idol's earlobe and regain your footing. You scramble over its face and sit down on the bridge of its nose. You draw your sword and consider which jeweled eye to prize out first.
Left eye or the right eye?
Left eye.
As you touch the emerald eye of the idol, you hear a creaking sound
Emerald
below
eye,
you.
they say. Oh.
Looking down, you are shocked to
that
see
bears
the
any
2
resemblance to
stuffed
an emerald,
birds taking flight. Their wings flap in jerky movements, but they are soon above you and look set to attack. You'll fight the flying guardians, 1 at a time, but your skill is reduced by 3 during this combat because of your restricted position.
Kind of hard to fight on the
Yeah, on a statue. I'm still up
face of a
plus 2.
statue.
The guardian snaps at you with its vicious beak,
Sometimes the dice are...
but you're able
yeah.
to smash the
Sometimes
hilt
they
of
can
your
land on each
sword
other and
into
it
its
takes a couple of seconds
outstretched
from,
neck.
Sort of calculator.
Coming at you with its razor-sharp talons, you're able to swipe your sword, partially removing one of the guardian's toes.
Make sure the toe line gets...
The beating wing of the guardian smashes
Make
into
sure
the
toe
side
line
of your
gets
head,
repeated.
leaving you seeing stars and sapping your stamina. The crumpled form of the first flying guardian falls crashing to the floor. So you ready yourself to take on the second.
Second one has 8 skill this time. So
You're able to grab the
Rolls need to
wing
be
of the
done.
guardian and send it crashing into the idol. It recovers, but you took some of its stamina. The guardian snaps at you
there,
with its vicious
so a
beak,
win for you.
but
Just
you're
a
able
win,
to
yeah.
smash the hilt
Plus
of
1.
your sword into its outstretched neck.
And top 3.
Clawing at your
Says
leg
it
with its
was.
talons, the guardian rips
But,
away a chunk of
7
your
health
stamina.
7.
Your
yeah.
final swipe dispatches the second flying guardian. You look down and see the crumpled bodies of the flying guardians lying motionless on the floor. You start to prize out the idol's emerald eye with the tip of your sword. At last it comes free, and you are surprised by its weight. Hoping that it may be of use later, you put it in your backpack.
Nice.
Prize out the right eye or climb down the idol?
Prize out the right eye. This is probably going to be death number...
You try to force the point of your sword under the emerald eye. Much to your surprise, it shatters on contact, releasing a jet of poisonous gas straight into your face. The gas knocks you out and you fall backwards, bouncing down the idol to land on the stone floor. Your adventure ends here.
Death number 4.
One failure.
135 of recalling.
Shit.
Quickly.
Yeah.
So, climb the idol.
The idol. You just managed to grab it.
No problem.
I believe you want to prize out the left eye.
Left eye, yeah.
You touch
We'll
the
quickly go
Cool.
fight again.
Yep.
Coming
Just give
at
me a
you
chance
with
to-
its razor sharp
To just save some stamina, yeah.
So
guardian
win,
snaps
yeah,
at you
a loss.
suspiciously.
Loss.
You're able to
One.
grab the wing of
Fine.
The crumpled form.
Second one.
guardian
one.
snap
Win.
coming at you with its.
Win.
Another win, and that was.
You're able to grab the wing of the
Nice.
guardian.
Your final.
To save some
You
stamina,
look down
which is
and
fine.
see the crumpled.
Would you like to prize out the right eye or climb down the idol?
Let's climb down this time.
Okay.
You lower yourself carefully down the idol, and wasting no more time in the cavern, run forward to the tunnel in the northern wall. Not much farther down the tunnel, you come to a closed door on your left. Putting your ear to the door, you listen intently but hear nothing.
So the good thing about even going back, that the map has saved. So you already know what was in. Would you like to open the door or keep walking north?
This was the petrification one, which didn't really. No. Yeah, I'll open the door. Just give me the ring of wish.
You
if I
enter a
remember
room
correctly.
which is small and completely empty. As soon as you are inside, the
Think.
door slams shut behind you. Suddenly a voice booms out of nowhere, shouting, "Welcome to Deathtrap Dungeon, the ingenious killer labyrinth of my master. Adventurer, I trust you will pay your respects to my master."
Would you like to shout out Hail Succumbit or Succumbit as a worm?
A worm.
Wormy worm.
No, wormy
You
worm.
take a deep... The
Yes.
tunnel twists
He's
and
a wriggly
turns,
boy.
but keeps
Ring
steadily
of wish.
north. Ahead, you see a thin shaft of blue light streaming down from the ceiling to the floor. It sparkles and shimmers, and you can see images of laughing faces in the light.
Last time you walked around the light. Would you like to walk through or walk around?
Let's try walking through it. Probably going to kill me.
As soon as your head goes under the blue light, you hear the sound of muffled voices. The faces are no longer laughing,
Uh-oh.
but have changed their expressions to one of despair and anguish. A young girl's sad face hovers in front of you, and she begins to whisper a poem. Transfixed, you listen intently, believing that she has a special message for you as she recites, "When corridor doth water meet, do not make a quick retreat. Take a breath and jump deep in, if your trial you hope to win." Memorizing the spirit girl's poem, you step through the shaft of light and quickly head on north. You come to an arched doorway set in the right-hand wall of the tunnel. The heavy stone door is closed, but there is an iron latch and a round handle.
This did not go through last time.
I'll try the door.
Yep.
Lifting the latch and pushing the heavy stone door open, you find yourself in a large cabin. The light is dim and murky, but as your eyes begin to adjust, you see that the walls are covered in green algae and running with moisture. The floor is strewn with straw. The atmosphere is warm, damp, and fetid, and a soft humming sound fills the air. You step gingerly through the straw towards a corner of the cabin where there appears to be a shallow pit. Peering warily into the pit, you are disgusted to see a mass of pale, writhing worms, some as much as 1/2 meter long. Nauseated, you're about to turn away when you notice that their undulating bodies are swarming around a dagger.
Okay.
Its point held fast in a crack in the pit floor. The hilt is cased in black leather, studded with opals, and the blade is fashioned from a strange, reddish-black burnished metal you have never seen before. You long to touch the dagger, but this would mean plunging your hand in among the writhing worm.
Reach for the dagger, or back away in disgust in the cavern.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Reach for the dagger.
Yep.
Taking a deep breath, you lean over the pit and plunge your forearm into the mass of wriggling worms. They are cold and clammy and feel extremely nasty, but at least they are harmless, and you are able to seize the dagger by the hilt. You give it a hard tug and it comes away from the crack in which the tip was embedded. Admiring its beauty and wondering whether it might once have belonged to some luckless contestant, you put the opal-studded dagger firmly in your belt and leave the cabin.
The weapon?
As you make your way back to the doorway, the buzzing sound increases in intensity, and you look around desperately to discover where it's coming from. Glancing up in the nick of time, you see a huge and grotesque black shape of a giant fly emerging from a recess high up in the cavern wall. As it gets closer, you realize that it's at least 1.5 meters long. Its opaque wings vibrate, making the sickening buzzing noise you can hear, and its 6 black, hairy legs are poised to grasp your body. Below, its multifaceted eyes is a long, shiny black proboscis, which darts in and out venomously. You have stolen the giant fly's treasure from her brood of maggots, and you must face the consequences. It's time to test your luck again. Remember, a roll equal to or less than your luck score means you've been lucky, but a roll higher than your luck could end badly. The giant fly swoops down again to try to capture you, but this time you manage to evade its outstretched legs. Stepping back, you draw your sword to prepare to fight the hideous insect as it turns to attack you again.
Wait.
Alright. It's only got a 7.
The creature flies at you so close you can't use your weapons. Grabbing it by its legs, you swing around, slamming it into a wall.
Keep attacking it.
That is something that comes up escape.
You grab 2 of the giant fly's legs,
Potential
but
option
before you can do any
sometimes.
damage, it
Yeah, it
wriggles
was.
free.
But escape will count as you
Losing. Yeah, no.
will
You spin your
definitely
sword
take
around
2
your
stamina
head,
damage.
clipping the fly and removing part of one of its legs. Pleased with your victory, you wipe the vile yellow slime from the blade of your sword and walk quickly to the door, back to the tunnel, and head north. The tunnel ends shortly at a junction. Looking left and right, you see a narrow path.
I'll try and skip most of the dialogue. So,
Okay.
here's where we are now. And you went east. Go west or east?
Go west.
Yep.
Ahead, you hear the sound of rocks being ground and crushed. The noise grows louder, and suddenly you realize that the wall on your right is starting to collapse. Terrified, you watch as a large, hideous, worm-like creature with a gaping mouth and powerful mandibles slithers through a hole in the wall. Its great jaws continue to crunch the rock as it turns its head slowly from side to side, feeling the cool air in the tunnel. It appears to be totally blind, but seems to know of your presence, perhaps sensing the heat of your body. It starts to slither towards you with its mandibles wide apart to attack.
Fight the rock grub or run back down the tunnel?
Let's fight the rock grub.
Yep.
You draw your sword and advance slowly towards the huge, slimy rock grub.
Fight.
It's only got 7.
Picking up a
Should
rock,
be,
you
easy enough.
manage to smash it into the head of the rock grub. It screeches in pain, withdrawing enough for you to ready for another attack.
Victor.
The rock grub is strong,
Roll.
but slow. You swing your sword, which smashes into its pulsating body.
And attack 3.
You thrust your sword,
There's another.
and you clearly
Perfect.
damage the
GG.
creature.
Easy. No way.
Pleased with your combat skills, you step round the great bulk of the dead rock grub and peer into the darkness of the borehole it left. You can only see a few meters, but are able to make out that it inclines slightly and is wet from the secreted slime of the rock grub.
Follow the borehole or walk west along the tunnel.
Let's just walk west along the tunnel because I don't want to potentially go up into its nest and get eaten alive again.
Enough?
After a long walk down the tunnel, you come to a dead end. A large mirror reaching from the ceiling to the floor hangs on the end wall, and in the dim light, you can just about make out your own reflection.
Take a closer look at the mirror or walk back to the junction.
Take a closer look. Damn it.
You step up to the mirror and are amused by your distorted reflection. Your head looks as large as a pumpkin, and your face is exceedingly strange. Suddenly, without warning, a terrible pain pounds through your head, and you try to look away from the mirror, but you are unable to. Some evil force is keeping your eyes glued to your own reflection. You grip your head with your hands and realize, with horror, that it is expanding. You can withstand it no longer, and blacking out with pain, you fall unconscious to the floor, never to wake. Your adventure ends here.
That one gets a weird sound effect. I don't
Yeah, that's weird.
So yes, death number 5 at 1:49 of recording.
And one failure.
Ahead,
So would you like to fight the rock grub or run back down the tunnel to the junction and head east?
Let's run back down the tunnel and head east.
Since you're not going to go in the borehole, I will explain now that going in the borehole is also in it.
you walk down the passage
You fight the
and
rock
soon
grubs.
find yourself standing at the
let's say
edge of a
other
deep,
half.
dark pit. The
Other
passage
half.
continues
Oh, okay.
east on the other side of the pit.
You're not too pleased.
You think you
Right.
could probably jump over the pit, but you're not sure. There is a rope hanging down from the ceiling over the center of the pit.
Oh, would you like to throw your shield over the pit and jump after it? I think you may have tried that before.
I did that.
Jump
one
over
already.
the pit, carrying all your possessions, or reach for the rope with your sword.
Let's reach for the rope with your sword. If I drop my sword,
Gripping
I'm going
the
to
rope
be pissed
firmly.
off.
You step back to take a running jump.
But drop your sword.
However,
No, I'm kidding.
In the dim light, you do not notice that someone has cut the rope almost in two, just a little way above the section you are holding.
Ruh-roh.
As you swing out across the pit, it suddenly breaks, and you scream with fear as you plunge headlong to the depths below. You
Good
land
thinking.
heavily on your back, but luckily your backpack cushions your fall, only costing you 1 skill point and 2 stamina points. It could have been much worse.
Could've.
The darkness is almost pitch black at the bottom of the pit, and you crawl along the floor, groping in front of you. Suddenly your hand touches something cold, hard and smooth. The object is small and round, but you cannot figure out what it is. You place it in your backpack, hoping to see what it is once you are out of the pit. You continue to crawl forward and soon reach the pit wall. It's too smooth to climb, and you have to cut hand and toe holds in it with your sword. This takes a long time, but finally you climb out of the pit on the east side. You immediately check out the object in your backpack and discover that you have found an orb of blood-red ruby. You are absolutely delighted and head off east in high spirits, whistling
Item,
softly.
but not a joke.
The tunnel makes a sudden left turn.
At least I
and
still have a
continues
shield this
north,
time around.
as far as you can see. You soon arrive at a closed wooden door in the left-hand wall.
Open the door. I will. Or keep going north.
Yeah, this is the petrification room.
I mean, may as
Yeah,
well just go in.
I'll open the door and answer the riddle, because then I'll get my skill point back. Wait for his question, and 200.
150, yeah.
200. Nice try.
Still smiling, the old man looks at you and says,
Well done, stranger. You have answered correctly. I wish you good fortune during the rest of the trial of champions. And to this end, I shall increase your powers.
He then mutters a few more unintelligible words, and you feel a powerful surge soar through your body, increasing your skill, stamina, and luck by 1.
Scales back up to. What
You
was it?
bid the old man farewell
And stamina
and
is
leave his room
minus
to continue
6 at this
north
point.
along the passage. Only a few meters further down the passage, you see another closed door in the left-hand wall. The letter X is scratched into its center panel. Putting your ear to the door, you listen intently, but can hear nothing.
Open the door or keep walking north. Did go through last.
Yeah, let's go north this time.
The passage slowly starts to climb, leading you relentlessly northwards. There are no doorways or even an alcove to investigate, and you become less guarded as you plod on. After a while, you become so nonchalant that you fail to notice a thin tripwire stretched low across the passage.
Uh-oh.
It is only when your foot catches it and you hear a distant rumble that you realize your mistake. The rumbling sound swells to an almost deafening level, and suddenly, out of the gloom of the tunnel ahead, you see a massive boulder rolling towards you, gathering speed with every second. You turn to flee the oncoming boulder. You run faster than you have ever run in your life, but still the boulder is catching up on you. This is a tough one, a test of both your skill and stamina. We'll roll 2 dice, and if the number rolled is equal to or less than both your skill and stamina,
Here at 12
your
skills.
fear gives you a new surge of energy, and somehow your tired legs manage to keep
That would
you in
only
front of
really
the
count if
boulder.
your stamina was super low.
Ahead, on your
Your
right,
skill was super...
you see the welcome sight of a
In this
doorway.
instance, we're good.
You lunge at the door, and mercifully it flies open. The boulder thunders past you, and you are left lying exhausted on the floor of a large room. Looking around you, you see an alcove in the west wall and a stone chair in the middle of the room.
Oh, this room sounds
Sitting in
familiar.
the chair is the skeleton
Oh,
of
yeah,
an
this
armed
one.
warrior,
So yeah, the boulder just brings you
possibly a
back to this room.
contestant from
'Cause
years
it's
gone
the first
by.
one,
Fair
The
enough.
skeletal fingers of its right
I
hand
believe. Yeah, the boulder.
Yeah, cool.
grip a crumpled
Right, so let's take the parchment from the skeleton again.
Parchment, which will reveal...
touching the parchment
manticore
The
thing, I'm sure.
manticore,
it is.
as precise.
Right, this dude, 8
Yep,
skill.
cool.
You run around the jerking skeleton,
Rolls here, 4 and a 3.
smashing your
Big 2.
the
8
skeleton is
versus
strong.
5, so
but
you
slow.
win both. Big 3.
You dodge
You
to the
lose the roll,
side
but
as the
you
warrior
win
swings
overall.
its sword.
Mm-hmm.
Once
Flawless.
again, you reach for the parchment, only this time lying amidst a pile of broken bones. Unfolding it, you see a map of a room with a drawing of a hideous creature inside it. Beneath the monster is a rhyme, which reads, "Should you meet the manticore, of its tail beware. Shield yourself against
Well, at
the
least you've
spikes
got a shield now.
flying through the air." You fold up the piece of parchment and put it in your backpack, repeating the rhyme over and over to yourself. You walk across to the alcove. At the back of the alcove are some steps leading down into a cellar.
Step through the archway or stop to eat some of the mushrooms.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Let's eat the mushrooms. It's probably going to be insta-death number 6. Yep.
You
knew
break
it.
off a large piece of the mushroom and bite into it eagerly. But
Someone has
immediately your
remembered the
stomach
Mario.
feels bloated, and you can even see it beginning to bulge below your belt. Your whole body starts to expand, bursting out of your clothes with a loud ripping sound.
Oh, I got a mega
You grow
mushroom, did I?
bigger and bigger, and soon your face is pressed against the ceiling. The mushrooms you have eaten are much sought after by wizards for their growth potions, but to you they spell doom. You are too large ever to leave the cellar, and your adventure ends here.
I believe was Death 6 at 1:58 time of recording. The shame is I need to make the skeleton.
Only a few meet.
Yep.
So we'll avoid the boulder this time.
Yeah.
Get the parchment.
Touch.
Void.
You run around the
So
jerking.
one.
The skeleton is
Very decent one. And third.
You dodge to the
11
side as
versus
the
9.
warrior.
Rolls that
Once
time.
again, you reach for the parchment.
Yeah,
At the
we
back
have
of the alcove.
the roll. Would you like to step through the archway or stop to eat some of the
Yeah,
mushrooms?
let's step through the archway.
Yeah, well,
The tunnel continues west for several hundred meters,
say at this point only Axion.
finally
has had more
ending
deaths
at some
7.
steps leading up to a closed trap door.
So yeah.
You climb the steps slowly, hearing muffled voices above you. In the dim light, you can see that the trap door is not locked.
Would you like to knock on the trapdoor? Or
No,
burst through the trapdoor?
Let's burst through and kill the 2 gobby boys.
You throw
Try and
the
get
trap
death
door
7 at some
open
point.
and run up the
Nah.
steps into a bright,
Hopefully not.
lantern-lit room. 2 goblins are sharpening their short swords.
This fight is the first different fight, so
Your
we'll
enemy
go
is
for that. That's a
strong.
win.
Hey.
This will hopefully be a win that equals a draw. Yep.
You both swing for each other. You hurl yourself at your
Roll,
enemy.
but
Fist.
lack of skill means...
You lunge at the
Yep,
creature's
another win.
stomach.
Mm-hmm.
You thrust your sword.
Well, first goblin's dead. Time for the second one.
Your enemy is strong.
This is dead.
Hey.
Enemy is not strong, he has 5 skill.
You hurl
And
yourself
this
at
is
your
it.
enemy.
Winning on the dice anyway.
You
And
thrust
then,
your sword.
6v6.
Triumphant in one of your toughest.
Right. Open the cupboard, open the west door or the north door.
Open the cupboard again, because there's the mallet
cupboard
and spikes. They might come in
contains a
useful.
wooden mallet and 10 iron spikes, which you put in your backpack while wondering which door to open.
Yes. West door or north door? Took west door last time, and I don't think there was too much of anything for you there.
Okay. Let's go north this time then.
There we go.
The door opens into another tunnel, which rises gently into the distance. After walking uphill for a while, the tunnel levels out, and you soon arrive at a door in the right-hand wall, to which a withered hand is nailed.
Open the door with the withered hand or continue north.
Let's open the door.
You enter a room in which a man in tattered clothing is standing chained to the wall by his left arm. And you see that his right hand is missing and realize that this must be the one nailed to the door.
Ah, couldn't be.
Pleading for mercy, he cowers back from you as far as his chains will allow.
Cut him free from his chains or leave the room and head north.
Man, it sucks to be him. I'll leave the room and head north.
Wow. Guy's missing a hand and you're just...
And he's chained up to the wall as well. Yeah, nah, it sucks to be him.
Okay, well, leave the room.
There is an open pipe in the right-hand wall, about a meter in diameter. It is too dark to see far down it. You shout into it and hear your voice echoing down the iron pipe until eventually the sound fades away.
Crawl down the pipe or continue north.
Let's try crawling down it.
Yep.
The pipe is wet and slimy, but you crawl on into the dank darkness, slithering and sliding as you go. Suddenly your hand touches something hard and square, which feels as if it is made of wood. It rattles as you shake it, and you decide you must be holding a box.
Crawl back out of the pipe and examine your box. Or press on further down the pipe, taking the box with you to examine later.
I will crawl back out the pipe and examine what I found first.
Removing the box lid by the light of the tunnel, you find an iron key and a large gem. It is a sapphire. Placing the items carefully in your backpack, you gain 1 luck point and set off north once again.
Da-da-da-da.
Ooh.
There is a new branch in the tunnel on
I'm
your
sure we
left,
wouldn't do that again if you went further. That was
and
it.
ahead
Cool.
you see 2 bodies lying on the floor. You stop and peer down
Yeah,
the
the
new
pipe would have
tunnel.
gone a different direction.
But
aka
seeing no
way.
doors or creatures, you decide against walking down it. With your sword drawn, you walk over to the bodies of the 2 orc guards.
Necklace. Want to wear the necklace again or set off north without it?
It gave me a plus. Well, let's just set off without it because I don't think there's any need to pick it up this time, is there? Because my strength's already.
The tunnel
back
soon
at 12.
ends at a junction.
Still -6.
Standing there alone and wondering which way to go is one of your rivals. It is one of the barbarians. You call out to him, but at first he does not answer. He merely stares at you coldly, his hands firmly gripping his axe. You walk up to him and ask which way he is heading. He grunts his reply, saying that he is going west, and you may go with him if you wish.
Yeah, those 2 ways. That's
Okay.
That's the pipe. Yeah.
Okay.
So head west with the barbarian, or decline his offer and head east alone.
I've got 2 of the gems now. Can I take a look at the map a second?
Yeah, sure.
So heading west with the
You
barbarian.
went that way. That takes you to
Goes up.
That's the arena.
That's the trial arena.
Then you had here with the crown.
Yeah.
We had
Up that way,
stilts,
which was the
slime,
stilts and the slime.
energy wall,
Trap and
trap,
ceiling,
and then the end.
and then the tunnel. Okay, what I'll do is
Right, we're back here.
see, I will. See, I know where the pearl is, so I don't know if that's the last one I need. Let's
Well, you say
gonna risk
last.
that.
You know of the emerald. Don't know that the sapphire is one of the. You may have
yeah,
2,
true.
but you only have one.
I
that
only
you're
guarantee I have one.
guaranteed
Yeah.
one.
Because if it's an emerald, I'm.
Oh, you know the first one's the emerald now.
Yeah.
Playing the multi-death theory and not a first-time run-through. You know that the
Yeah.
emerald is the is the first gem that's required. However, because you didn't have the emerald, you don't know what the
Don't know what the second
or
one is.
potential
Yeah.
third one.
Well, because I remember I took a different path by the bugs and the fake crown. I don't know if I want to go here, like take a right here and go east, or continue west with a barbarian and try my luck there as well.
You want me to save you a little bit of stress and just show you what happens if
it's probably an instant
The
death.
eastern tunnel soon comes to a dead end. A piece of paper, brown and cold with age, is pinned to the end wall.
pull off the wall to see whether there is a message written on it, or hurry back down the tunnel to join the barbarian.
Hurry back down the tunnel and join the barbarian. Fuck that.
Oh,
That's
look.
an instant death.
Running down the tunnel,
Looks like we're going west.
you soon catch up with the barbarian
Fuck.
and tell him
I mean,
that the eastern passage
point
comes
is,
to a dead end. He nods
necessary.
his head in silent understanding and says,
So we'll just skip a lot of
although
this
you
dialogue.
are...
Right. Yeah.
Accept the barbarian's offer to lower him down, or suggest that you both jump over.
I'll accept the barbarian's offer this time.
Yeah.
You tie the rope around your waist and take hold of the lighted torch given to you by Throm, as your
Barbarian friend
barbarian
lets go of
ally
you,
calls
and
himself.
you die. Your adventure
Taking
ends here.
hold of the slack rope, Throm lowers you slowly over the edge of the pit and down into the dark depths below. You can see by the light of the torch that the sides of the pit are extremely smooth. You drop about 20 meters before hitting the bottom of the pit. There, you see another tunnel heading north.
and you call up to Throm and tell him of your discovery. He calls back, saying that he is going to tie the rope around a protruding rock on the edge of the pit.
That I had to...
On a stone ledge in the tunnel wall, you see 2 dusty leather-bound books. Throm grunts his contempt for the written word, urging...
Oh, would you like to open the red leather book? The black leather book?
Yeah, the red leather book first, because this is the one for the...
As you open
the
the
Blood
book,
Beast.
Blood Beast, yeah.
immediately
2 minutes of
begins...
dialogue here.
Yeah, cool.
Open the black book. Then you know.
Yeah, open the black book.
Find a
The book-
potion.
The potion.
Drink the liquid. Rub the liquid into your wound. Or leave the bottle.
So listen, I'm going to... I'll drink it. Fuck it. And hope fuck it doesn't kill me.
And this is where you'll kick yourself from earlier.
The liquid is a magical potion that will enable you to detect hidden traps and adds 2 luck points.
Bastard!
If only you'd taken it the first time. You might have died to the
Setting
ceiling.
off, you continue your journey north with Throm. The tunnel turns
I
sharply
think
to
I've
the
rubbed
right,
that potion into wounds, I
continuing
don't actually know
east
what that
for as
does.
far as you can see. Throm stops and tells you to halt as well.
I will need to
turns
do
his
this
head slowly
offline and
from
do like
side to
every
side.
single.
I hear
Yeah, every
footsteps
single
coming down the
option and
tunnel
find out
towards
where
you.
all the insta-kills are and stuff
Draw
like
your
that.
sword
Just see where all
You
the
both
items get
crouch
used.
down to
Some
hide
items
in
I
the
still don't know
shadows.
where they get used.
and not
Yeah,
a
like
minute
that
too
ring.
soon.
That we used earlier. That
For a
was the
moment
first time I'd
later,
seen that being used.
You see
okay.
the silhouette of 2 armed
no one else had-
guards.
You know, taking the ring.
Throm
and that.
jumps up and dashes
Yeah, okay.
forward, screaming.
Right, so we have
Right,
fight.
combat, let's go.
Heavy troll. Remember, you're -6 right now.
You drop to the ground,
That is a
grab
draw,
the
but you
creature,
fire skill.
and
Uh,
you
Oh, you
hurl
get help
yourself at your enemy,
Yeah,
dice
just-
moved
fists
over.
flailing, and land.
I think that might have been a draw either way if it hadn't been moved over.
You drop to
And
the
it's a draw,
ground.
but you've higher skill, so
You look
Nice.
to the left
perfect.
and see Throm standing over the cave troll he has slain. Blood is pouring out from a deep cut in his shoulder, but it does not seem to worry him. You search the bodies of the cave trolls, but find nothing, apart from a bone
Apart
ring
from the
on
bone
a leather
ring.
cord hanging.
So it was the ring had an inscription. I think it was a dryad saying
Yeah, Northern
it would
Druids.
give you power if you were strong enough to accept it. So would you like to put the ring on or continue east?
I would like to first eat 2 provisions. Because I'm
probably
down
best
by
just to eat
6.
one.
Up to me to
Now you're only down
21.
2.
Yeah,
not
actually, let's just eat 1. Let's try.
Yep.
I don't want it to be an instant death, though. Mm. No, continue east. No, I'm not gonna risk it.
The tunnel
Fair enough.
leads into a damp cavern with a high ceiling and rock-strewn floor. Long and wet.
Stalactites are there. Did you like to search the chamber as you did before, or head straight for the
No,
archway?
it's head straight for the archway. Because all it was a luck check
The
last time.
tunnel ends at a large oak door. Throm wastes no time in testing the handle and is somewhat surprised to find the door unlocked. He pushes it open and walks into a torch-lit chamber. Sitting alone on an ornate chair is a dwarf who bids you
Our
enter.
dwarf friend. Join Throm in attacking the dwarf, or persuade Throm to go through with the dwarf's test.
I'm just going to go through the test again.
Fine. And skip through this as much as possible.
Mhm.
So the roll is always an 8 here,
Always
so
8, okay.
less, same, or more.
So it's pure chance,
Yes.
but statistically speaking, you're more likely to be for it to be less than 8 than it is to be the same or greater than. So I'm going to go less than 8 again.
Yep.
The dwarf
Ah.
looks at the dice.
Not very good at playing the odds, are you?
He sneers.
I regret you must suffer a penalty before you can continue.
From out of his pocket, he produces 2 pills. One is stamped with the letter S, and the other stamped with the letter L.
S and
He
L.
asks
What
you
could
to
they
choose one
I wonder.
and swallow it.
Oh, the
L.
S or the L?
L for luck.
Can I sort of cheat here and just make this choice pointless for you?
Sure, go for it.
You know how the S pill,
Mm-hmm.
you have a skill potion.
Ah, that's true.
How would you like
fuck.
to swallow the S or the L pill?
Yeah, let's take the S pill then.
The pill makes you feel dull and lethargic, reducing your skill by 2 points. The dwarf tells you that you can now progress to the second stage of the test. He
Anything
reaches
you'd
for a
like to
wicker basket
Take
right
take
now?
the skill potion.
and tells
yeah.
you that there is a
as
snake
well.
inside it. He tips the
Oh, look at
basket
that.
over,
That last,
and the snake drops onto the
that
floor.
last forfeit was
It is a cobra,
pointless.
and it rears up into the air.
Oh, skill check. Oh well.
Skill
With
check.
lightning
Hey,
speed.
instant success. Next, let's just fight the anagram of Ruin Moat. I want to see
Ah,
what it's
the-
like to fight a Minotaur this time.
Minotaur this time.
You call out to the dwarf that you are ready to fight the Minotaur. The wooden door rises slowly, and you see the fearsome beast, half man, half bull, step into the arena. Steam blows from
I
its
think you do the
nostrils as it
Minotaur
works
a great
itself up
disservice
into a
here as
rage,
you're about to
ready to attack. Suddenly it rushes forward, swinging its
So Scorpion
double-headed
was a plus
axe.
10.
2 10s. This is a 9.
Oh, wow.
I feel like they do the Minotaur a great disservice here.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Minotaur leans forward and takes a run at you.
I feel like the Minotaur should have been an 11.
The
Absolutely.
Minotaur
Minotaur,
swings its huge axe above its head.
like, just based off of mythology, are quite intimidating creatures, so...
Your speed is improving. You
Plus,
run
considering
directly
other
at the
fighters
Minotaur and slice at its
extended
leg as
10
you run
fight.
by.
Yeah.
The
I should have
dwarf
been a
calls
3
down from the
against
balcony,
11.
Yeah.
congratulating
definitely.
you on your victory. He throws the sack down into the arena.
Eat and drink the dwarf's offerings?
Yeah,
or sit them?
eat and drink, because it was 2
The
stamina
food and
back,
drink
right?
are excellent, and you feel much better, gaining 2 more
Hey,
stamina
Yeah, that's me
points.
back to full stamina.
Fully satisfied, you sit down.
And now we fight
After
our
about-
friend.
Yeah. Just swing through it.
Throm is
So
tall.
one,
You hurl yourself at
Four
Throm.
throw.
okay.
You drop to the
Another
ground,
time.
sweeping
Another
away
one,
Throm's leg.
Exhausted by your long
Walk straight into the tunnel or swing a punch at the door.
I'm going to walk straight into the tunnel because I know I get the feeling that if I swing a punch at the dwarf, it'll just be
The
an instant
tunnel.
death.
soon divides
never
into
know.
2.
Nope.
You hear a buzzing sound coming from the
Now we are back to
Okay. Let's go.
Oh. I will kind of say that you do not hopefully do remember everything that happened up here.
Happened
Oh.
up that way, yeah.
western branch.
Walk west, investigate who or what is making the noise, or continue
Yeah.
north.
Let's go west. 'Cause I
There is
think
a
I can
large
continue
panel
going
of
west,
glass in the left-hand wall of the tunnel. Through it, you can see a bright, torch-lit room
Hey, some bugs.
teeming with
Yeah.
Would you like to break the glass and try and snatch the crown that definitely looks real? Continue west, or return to the junction and head north?
Let's continue west. 'Cause I didn't go west last time.
Ahead, in the far distance, you hear the sound of slow footsteps coming towards you. Unsure of who or what might be approaching, you look around for a place to hide. You see a large crack in the tunnel wall which lies in shadow.
Stand your ground with your sword drawn, or hide in the shadows.
Stand my ground with my sword drawn.
Okay.
A crippled man
with shackled feet, shuffles into sight, carrying a
should have
wooden
had from the
tray
crippled
laden
man.
with bread and water.
Ah.
Got like 13
He looks
skill.
tired and miserable, and quite unmoved by the sight of you, and tries to walk past.
You can talk to him, take the bread and water off his tray, or offer him some of your provisions.
Offer him some of mine. Got 9.
Yeah.
He eyes you suspiciously as you offer him a portion of your provisions. But hunger overcomes his fear and he crams the food into his mouth. You ask him what he is doing in the tunnels, and he explains that he is a servant of one of the trial masters, Baron Sukhumvit's appointed controllers of sections of his dungeon. He tells you he would like to escape, but no one is allowed to leave the dungeon in case the secret of its construction is revealed. You tell him that you are a contestant in the Trial of Champions and that you would appreciate any help. Rubbing his chin, he turns to you and says, "One good turn deserves another. All I can tell you is that in a northern tunnel, there is a wooden chair carved in the shape of a demon bird. There is a secret panel in the arm of the chair which contains a potion in a glass vial. It's a Doppelganger Potion. Now, I must go back about my duties. Good luck. I hope we meet again outside these infernal tunnels." The man then shuffles off, and you continue your journey west. After a short while, you arrive at another junction in the tunnel, with a choice of 2 directions.
This point. So keep heading west or go north.
He mentioned north, so
Did mention the
let's
here to the north.
keep heading west.
Yeah.
The tunnel turns sharply to the right and continues north for as far as you can see. There is a door in the left-hand wall which is ajar, and you hear someone cry for help from the other side of it.
Open the door or continue north.
Continue north.
The tunnel continues for quite a distance before you reach a junction.
West.
There, I don't know. So head west into the new tunnel or continue north.
Let's head west.
Yeah.
Ahead, you see that the tunnel turns a corner, beyond which it continues north. You stop before the corner, startled by the sound of high-pitched voices, whispering and sniggering.
Draw your sword and look around the corner, or walk back to the junction to head north.
Draw my sword and look around the corner.
You peep around the corner and see 2 small creatures running away from you. Both are dressed in baggy clothes and wear pointed floppy hats. They are mischievous leprechauns.
Follow the leprechauns, or walk back to the last junction to head north.
Let's walk back to the junction and head north.
Yeah.
A brown velvet curtain is draped over an archway in the eastern wall of the tunnel.
Go back the curtain, walk through the archway, or continue north.
Archway.
Yeah.
Let's try this.
You enter a cold room, divided by a deep chasm. A rope is
Jesus
stretched
Christ.
taut across the chasm to the far side, where a magnificent winged helmet rests on top of a pole.
Shiny. Walk across the tightrope to reach the helmet, or return to the tunnel and continue north.
Let's walk across the tightrope. Fuck it. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Testing every last drop of your skill, you step nervously onto the rope, not daring to look down. Halfway across, you start to panic and lose your footing. Walking on a rope like this requires skill. Well, test yours.
Okay, cool.
But you have skills.
As you fall,
So, hey.
you manage to grab the rope with your hands. Slowly, you haul yourself over to the far side and scramble up onto the floor. You lift the helmet off the pole and put it on your head. It has been made by a highly skilled ironsmith and increases your skill by 1 point.
Even though it's
Not wanting to risk walking back across the tightrope, you decide to crawl along it. Safely back on firm ground, you step through the archway and head north, up the tunnel.
Oh, that was a waste of
The
time.
tunnel continues north a long way before turning sharp right. Around the corner, you come to a dead end. Only the mouth of a wooden chute in the wall offers
I
any...
will stop it right here as you found chute number 2.
Okay.
So you know what happens now. You fight Blood Beast, Manticore,
Okay.
and then you have the door. Now, the door needs 3 gems.
hope of further
We have
progress.
2, so
You decide
just to save a bit of
Right.
time, we will count this as failed 2,
Yeah, because I can't actually succeed now.
and you will need to go back to option.
Right.
Now, the old man did tell you about the thing north, and the only
Yeah,
options you have
so-
left north were here.
Let's go to that second one there with
this
the
one?
stairwell. Yeah, that's just after the old man, I'm pretty sure. So,
After a short while, you arrive.
Keep heading west or go north.
let's go north.
Set back in the arched alcove in the tunnel wall, you see an ornate wooden chair carved
chair.
in the shape of a demon-like bird of prey.
Sit in the chair or keep going north.
Sit in the chair.
Remembering the old man's advice, you search the arm of the chair for a secret panel. You find an almost invisible crack in the arm, which you start to press and squeeze. Suddenly a tiny panel springs out of the arm, and you see a glass phial lying in a cavity. You pick it out and read the label. Doppelganger Potion, 1 dose only. This liquid will make you assume the shape of any nearby living being. You place the strange potion in your backpack and continue north, where the tunnel starts to slope downwards and finally comes to an end at a deep pool enclosed by the tunnel wall. The words of the spirit girl's
yeah,
poem
the-
flash through your mind.
Subtitles will.
When
give out here
corridor
because,
doth water meet, do not make a quick retreat. Of course, it is here that she wants you to dive into the water.
So yes, if you didn't go through the light, you wouldn't have known
Known about
what
this,
to do
yeah.
here. You would have come straight back out.
Now, you must decide what to do.
Dive into the
Dive
water.
into the water. Yeah.
Yeah,
Somewhat nervously,
I
you
don't know
take a
why
deep
the
breath and
subtitles do
dive
that
into
there.
the
It's-
dark pool.
Hmm.
The northern
think you would
wall
know
does
there was a
not project
specific
very far beneath the
bigger
surface
point
of the water,
no, but
and you decide to take the risk to swim under it. Soon, you start gasping for air and are forced to swim upwards. Trying not to think that you could be trapped in an old submerged tunnel, you are relieved when you surface into cool air. You are on the other side of the wall and can see the tunnel rising out of the water and continuing north into the distance. You wade out of the water and check if you've been lucky with the contents of your wet backpack. 2 portions of your provisions are saturated and are now inedible. Other than that, all your other possessions remain intact. You repack them carefully inside your backpack and set off north again. A little way along on the left of the tunnel
I still
wall,
get 6.
you reach the entrance of a large cavern from which you hear a girl's voice crying for help. You can just make out the shape of a human figure rolling about on the floor at the back of the cavern.
Enter the cavern and investigate, or continue north along the tunnel.
Enter the cavern and investigate.
Yeah.
As you approach the prostrate figure, you see she is an elf, one of your rivals in the Trial of Champions, and she is fighting for her life in the bone-crushing grip of an enormous boa constrictor.
Help to fight the boa constrictor, or leave, walk back to the tunnel and head north.
Leave, walk back to the tunnel, and head north. Fuck her. She's a contestant. She needs to die.
Wow.
I'm
Walking
sorry,
along
but
the
if
tunnel,
only one person
you
can
notice
win.
an iron
Fuck
grill
you guys.
in the
I'm
floor.
out.
Stop and lift it up,
iron
or
drill.
keep walking.
Keep walking.
A door comes into view in the left-hand wall of the tunnel. You listen carefully at it and hear nothing. The door is not locked, and the handle turns easily.
Here's where we... Open the
Let's
door,
open-
or keep walking.
Yeah, open the door.
The door opens into a small dark room, which is empty apart from a sturdy wooden chest lying on a shelf on a far wall. The floor is thick with dust, and you can clearly see fresh footprints leading from the door to the chest and back again. You wonder whether one of your rivals is still ahead of you on the walk, or whether the chest has only recently been placed on the shelf by one of the trial masters.
Enter the room and open the chest, or keep walking down the tunnel.
I'm probably going to regret this. Keep walking down the tunnel.
Off.
The tunnel starts to widen, and ahead you see it's opened into a huge cavern from where you can hear the sound of many high-pitched voices. You creep up to the entrance and take a look inside. There are about 20 tiny people with long noses and ears running in a circle around a large golden effigy.
Walk up and talk to them. Try to keep past them. Drink a Doppelganger Potion? Do we have one of those?
Yeah, I got one from the throne room. I don't know if I want to use that now or after. Can you use items in your backpack during combat at all?
No.
You can't. Okay. Because I'm just worried that there might be something else after. Fuck it. Let's drink the Doppelganger Potion. Because I don't know if I'll get past
You
them
pour
or
the
not.
contents of the glass vial into your mouth
Majority of the
and
time,
swallow the clear
items
liquid.
Have one.
Although you do
one
not feel
used.
any immediate
Yeah.
change, you hope that the potion will
There's only
create the illusion that you are a
One
troglodyte,
that I've seen so far
just
that
like
has
the ones in
multiple,
front
but
of you.
you don't have
Taking
that
a
item,
deep
so it
breath,
doesn't-
you step boldly
know.
into
Okay.
the cavern. The troglodytes
troglodyte.
continue their tribal dance, believing you to be one of them. You walk past them casually and head north. Unfortunately, the effects of the potion are short-lived. Suddenly, you hear a shriek behind you as one of the troglodytes spots you, and you are forced to run across the cavern floor. Ahead, you see an underground river running east to west through the cavern, and a wooden bridge crossing over it.
Run over the bridge or dive into the water.
Run over the bridge.
After
I don't know
crossing
how
the
strong
bridge,
that war would
You
be
run
on the
across the
journey.
cavern floor. At last, you see a tunnel in the far wall, which you race down until you reach its end at a heavy wooden door. The door
Oh, the
It's
door's locked. Uh-oh.
The key turns in the lock,
Okay, haha, yay.
and the door opens into a four-way intersection
Thank
of the
fuck for
tunnel.
that.
There is nothing to be seen, either to the east or to the west, apart from the now familiar ceiling crystals giving off their dim light. And suddenly you hear a voice calling you. This way, this way. You are on the right track. It seems to be coming from somewhere directly ahead of you. Your curiosity gets the
Yeah, those are the two. I don't think you ever get to take the
better of
cipher
you,
right.
and you decide to walk towards the beckoning voice. The tunnel bends sharply to the right, and around the corner you see a little old man with a long beard, cowering behind a large wicker basket. The basket is tied to a rope, the other end of which disappears into the ceiling. The old man sounds very worried as he says, "Do not attack me, stranger. I pose no threat to you. I am simply here to help you. If you will be so kind as to offer me some sort of remuneration, I will gladly haul you up in the basket to the upper level. And believe me, that is where you ought to be."
So depending on your choices here, you might see him say silence. So, give the man something from your backpack or walk past him down the tunnel.
Give the man something from my backpack. So I think I've got
Silence.
that.
Offer a provision as payment, offer something else, or walk past him down the tunnel.
Offer something else.
Silence. Offer a coin as payment, offer something else, walk past him down the tunnel.
Something else.
Silence. Offer the orb of blood
There
red
you
ruby
go.
as payment, offer something else, walk past him down the tunnel.
The blood red ruby.
Yeah.
After paying off the old man, you climb into the wicker basket and watch as he tilts his head back and shouts, "Pull it up, Ivy!" The rope goes taut, and the basket
There you go,
rises
that guy's
jerkily
voice.
off the ground.
Voice changed from
As
soft
you are
to
hauled higher and higher,
weirder.
the old man calls out to you, saying, "You'll like Ivy. She's a nice girl. We call her Poison Ivy." He starts to laugh uncontrollably, and you wonder, somewhat apprehensively, just who is hauling you up. The basket goes through the ceiling, and you find yourself in a small chamber, face to face with an ugly old female troll. Her face is hairy and covered with warts. With a huge hand, she reaches forward and hauls you out of the basket, which she lets fall to the floor below. She grabs you round the throat and says in a husky voice, "I want paying, too."
Give Ivy something from your backpack. Try to talk your way out of giving her anything, or attack her with your sword.
What have I actually got in my backpack?
You
I can't
have.
remember.
Well, you had the choice of provision to give, coin, you have 3 of those. You have a wooden tube, goblet, ring of wishes, manticore parchment, mallet, and spikes.
Alright, let's try something from my backpack and I'll try the goblet.
Silence. Offer a provision, offer something else, try to talk your way, attack.
Something else.
Silence. Offer a coin, offer something else, try to talk your way out, attack.
Something else.
Silence. Offer ring of wishes, offer something else, try and talk, attack.
Something else.
Silence. God damn it. 10 iron spikes, something else,
Nah,
talk,
something
attack.
else. I'm gonna keep going until if that goblet pops up as
Silence,
an
wooden
option.
tube, something else, try, attack.
Something else.
Sometimes it doesn't give all these options. It would be silence, emerald, something
No.
else, try, attack.
Something else. If it doesn't give me all the options, then
Island. Sapphire. Something else.
No.
Dry attack.
Something else.
Islands. Provision. So we're back at the start, so you
Shit.
can't. Something. Try attack.
Let's try giving her something else.
Islands. Coin.
Then give
Something
her-
else.
Offer
Try attack.
coin as payment.
Without even pausing to thank you, Ivy pushes you out of her chamber, through a door in the east wall. You find yourself standing at the end of a tunnel, with a flight of stone steps leading downwards. From the floor below, you can hear the sound of barking dogs. There is nowhere to go except down the steps towards the sound. It's a shame you don't have a bone to throw down and distract them with.
Yep.
You reach the bottom and, with your sword
Thanks,
drawn,
dickhead.
face the two huge black guard dogs, which leap at you, one at a time. You may escape after killing the first guard dog.
So basically, you can avoid the second fight, but you will take the guaranteed damage.
Yeah. Nah, let's just keep fighting them.
You're able to grab the rear leg of the dog.
One. Well,
The dog
Five,
snaps
you-
at you with its vicious.
kill means you win.
Coming at you
And,
snarling, you're able to swipe
oh,
your
that
sword
counts as a
hard,
three.
removing
It
part
doesn't
of the
count as a
dog's
five.
tail.
Islands. Escape
Fight the
or
second
fight the
guard dog.
second. So if you
With
lose
the
twice
first
here,
guard dog dealt with,
Then
you
it's-
turn your
it's
attention
hard
to the
work,
second snarling creature.
but it has 7 as well. So.
It's 7 as well,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're able to grab the rear leg of the dog and flip it over, smashing its head into the ground.
Okay. First was 1, second.
The dog snaps at you with its vicious
For one.
teeth, but you're able to smash the hilt of your sword into its outstretched neck.
And final attack.
Coming at you snarling,
Guys,
you're able to swipe your sword hard, removing part of the dog's tail.
Standing over your now motionless foe, you see a metal capsule attached to the collar of one of the guard dogs. You prise off the top and find a small tooth inside. It is a leprechaun's tooth, which will bring you good fortune, already gaining you 2 luck points.
which it doesn't.
You put the tooth in your pocket and set off east along the tunnel. The tunnel veers sharply to the left and comes to an end at a high wall in which there is a door. You hear a ferocious roar from the other side of the wall, and you wonder what gargantuan beast could make such a noise. You have no choice but to open the door, as the wall is too smooth to climb. Taking a deep breath, you turn the handle and enter a sand-covered pit. There, standing some 10 meters tall on its huge hind legs, in front of large double doors in the opposite wall, is an enormous dinosaur-like monster.
What the
It has a
fuck?
tough,
It's a
mottled green
T-Rex.
hide and a mouth lined with razor-sharp
go.
teeth. Its jaws open and close with bone-snapping power, and even you cannot help trembling as you approach it with your sword drawn.
I have to fight a T-Rex. What is this?
With 12
Wait,
skill,
a
the
pit?
pit fiend.
It's a pit fiend? Fuck.
You lunge at the creature's stomach
Aye,
with your
so you
sword
don't lose
drawn.
anything.
Yeah.
I
The
mean, it's
creature
very
whips
fiendish and
around,
it's in a
parrying
pit, so
your
I mean,
blow. Neither of you
I
are
mean,
harmed.
It's
I'm
not
going off
wrong.
a D&D here. That ain't no fucking pit fiend.
You
Ooh,
lunge at the
get
creature's
fucked.
stomach with
12.
your sword drawn. It tries to move, but you land a painful blow.
Third.
The
It
giant
will sneak
creature
eyes.
whips
Snake
its
eyes.
huge
Nice.
tail directly at
The
you.
look
You
of
duck
this
and
one.
roll quickly, slicing a chunk from it as it passes.
You are exhausted and sit down
Let's
for
kill
a
the
rest
fucking
on the tail
dinosaur.
of the dead beast.
Yep.
Looking down at your feet, you suddenly notice an iron ring poking up through the sand.
Fill the ring
Oh.
or leave the pit via the double doors.
Let's. Oh. leave the pit via the double doors.
That's fine. However, remember how you lost your shield in a previous life?
Yeah.
The iron ring is attached to a small trap door. It lifts up easily, and inside a small compartment you find a finely crafted shield made of the purest iron. Marveling at its splendor, you strap it on your arm, gaining you 1 skill point. You walk towards the
That's
double
how you get a
doors
shield back.
and push them open.
Right, okay, fair enough.
The doors open into a tunnel running north. You close the doors behind you and set off once again. Walking along, you see a red line painted across the tunnel floor and notice a sign on the wall which reads, "No weapons beyond this point."
Abandon any weapons before continuing north, or ignore the notice and carry on north. Currently.
Okay.
Getting quite close to a certain thing,
Yeah,
which
I'm
leads to probably
going to abandon any weapons. Because I'm getting close to that tunnel, so I might not need them. I doubt I'll need them if that's the case.
Do you remember what's at the other side of the tunnel and the...
Oh yeah, there's the
Go.
fucking... yeah, no, ignore the notice and carry on.
The tunnel leads into a marble-floored hall with pillars rising right up to the ceiling. As you cross the floor, your footsteps echo through the hall. The hairs on the back of your neck start to prickle, and you soon sense unseen eyes watching you. Unknown to you, one of your rivals is hiding behind a pillar. It is the ninja, a deadly assassin dressed in black robes. Without a sound, he steps out from behind the pillar and throws a star-edged disc at your back.
Hurricane!
Instinctively, an inner voice tells you to duck. But how's your luck?
You're on 12, pretty good.
The razor-sharp disc whistles past your head and bites deep into one of the pillars. Turning to face your would-be assassin, you prepare yourself as he advances, his long sword drawn.
Okay, at least he said long sword separately instead of long sword in one word, because that ain't no fucking long sword. Right, let's see how well we do
You
here.
find a rock lying in the
do
corner
have a plus
and throw it
1 on
hard toward a pillar where the
Yeah.
ninja is hiding. As he looks around it, the rock hits him agonizingly in the face.
Get fucked.
You find a used
Win
throwing
again.
disc and hurl it as he unleashes another. The ninja howls in pain as yours lands home.
Better ninja then.
Mm-hmm.
And third,
The ninja is fast, whipping past you and landing a powerful blow in your back.
You decide to
Two
search the
damage.
ninja and find a cloth bag in the folds of his robes. Inside it is a flask of water, some rice wrapped in a palm leaf, a jar of ointment, and a beautiful diamond.
Ooh.
the rice and drink the water. Rub some of the ointment into your bins. Take only the diamond and leave. Oh.
Provisions, I don't need any. I'm gonna take the diamond and leave.
Yep.
Because I'm
The only
only minus
possible
2 on
way
stamina,
out of the
so
hall,
don't wanna risk
as far as
anything
you can
on
see,
that.
is by using the chute in the northern wall. You decide to give it a go
Diamond,
and
emerald,
climb into
sapphire.
the chute. You
Was it
slide down
pearl?
gently, landing on your back in another room.
There are 2 gems. Don't
As
know
soon as you
of.
stand up,
For the
you're
door, and there's
confronted
also
by
2
the
gems
most
that you don't
repulsive
know
sight
of
you have
in
ever
general.
laid eyes on.
In general, yeah.
There in front of you, wallowing in a circular...
Blood beast. Been
Blood
to chop its stuff. Tongue.
The creature reaches for you with its mouth from the pool.
Back to it.
The creature launches
Snake
its
eyes.
head
That was
out of
close.
the pool in front of you and reaches.
3. Ooh, is
The
it
blood
almost
beast's
for you?
tail whips around you.
Nice.
You duck. Your blade strikes one of the blood beast's real eyes with devastating effect. It slumps back into its pool, thrashing about in a frenzy. You seize the opportunity and run around the side of the pool to the tunnel exit. The tunnel leads into a large room, its ceiling supported by several marble pillars. As you enter the room, you see a strange beast to your right. It has the body of a lion with dragon-like wings attached to it, but its head
This time,
is like that
You
of
have a
an
shield.
I
old
don't take the
bearded man.
-2, so I've still got my shield.
You
Yeah.
recognize the beast.
I'm pretty sure I've actually got 2
It is
shields
a
now because I didn't
manticore.
lose it
Yeah.
the first time. on this
Taking
one.
heed of the warning poem you took from the skeleton warrior, you watch out for its tail, which sprouts a profusion of sharp spikes at its tip, thick and hard as iron bolts. You raise your shield in front of you just in time to protect yourself from a volley of spikes released from the manticore's tail and aim straight at your heart. They sink into your shield, and you remain unharmed.
yay.
Swiftly,
Yay.
you draw your sword and advance on the manticore.
White.
You seize an opportunity to attack the... You run to avoid the whipping tail, but stumble.
Minus
And a
just
spike.
right now.
The creature runs
another
directly
minus
at you.
10.
You move too late. As you are wiping the manticore's
Going
blood
back
from your
into
sword,
Provisions.
you are surprised to see a small
Yeah.
man jump
Maybe
out
I'll
from
put 8
behind
and
one of the
-2.
marble pillars. He is dressed in a tight-fitting green tunic and looks quite harmless,
Shit.
although you are wary of the way he is
have 3
holding an
gems though this
opaque
time.
glass ball
Yeah.
And we know
with
one
a
of them is
shimmering
right.
green light. Greetings, he says cheerfully. My name is Igbot, the gnome, and I am the trial master for your final test. Needless to say, my magical powers are great, so you should not try to attack me. You may have learnt, during your quest, that gems play an essential part in the trial of champions. The iron door in front of you is the victory exit, but there is only one way of opening it. 3 gems have to be put into the lock mechanism in the correct order. Each gem radiates a unique energy, which will trigger the mechanism. If you do it correctly, that is. But first, we need the correct gems. First, you will need an emerald.
Which we have.
The gnome smiles and says, "You truly are a great adventurer. Now, you will also need
Hey.
a sapphire."
Oh, balls. It's going to be a ruby,
No.
isn't it?
And
Still
now you need a
smiling.
pearl.
Says excitedly, "Excellent.
If it's
Just
a
one
ruby
to
or a
go.
pearl, I'm going to be pissed.
Lastly, you'll need a diamond."
Oh. Oh, fuck. Okay.
The gnome jumps in the air, yelling, "Well done! Nobody has ever managed to find all 3 gems before.
Other
Now get ready for the
2
final
gems
test,
were
which I will explain once and
topaz
once only."
and
As you can see, the lock on this
garnet.
door has 3 slots labeled A, B, and C, each of which is built to accept a specific gem. You have to put one of the 3 gems in each of the slots in the correct order. If you manage this at the first attempt, fine. However, if you put the gems in the wrong slots, you will be blasted by a bolt of energy from the lock, causing you injury. So choose carefully. I'm allowed to help you a little. If you place 1 gem in its correct slot but get the other 2 wrong, I shall shout 1 crown and 2 skulls. If you place all 3 gems incorrectly, I shall shout 3 skulls. You'll be allowed to try again and again until you either succeed or die. Are you ready? You signal your readiness with a nod of the head and walk forward to place the 3 gems in the slots. For your first try, decide now which gems you will place in the labeled slots.
So, as we found out through everyone else, this is completely random as well. So there is no set order. Is it changed
Right, so
for everybody?
I'm going to just put Emerald A, Sapphire B, Diamond C.
Emerald A, Sapphire B. So if we hear 3 crowns, that means we're successful. 3 skulls means they're all in the wrong
Completely
place.
wrong. Yeah.
1 crown and 2 skulls means 1 is in the right.
Right, okay. Let's try it.
If it is wrong, there will be a combination that goes up down here.
Okay,
Already
cool.
tried.
So we know what we've tried. Cool.
So if you're lucky, 3 crowns.
First try.
You just have time to hear the gnome say, 3 skulls, before a white bolt of energy shoots out from the lock into your chest, knocking you unconscious. It's 1 dice plus 1 for the damage.
Ooh.
You
Damn it.
come
Okay.
to and are told by the gnome to try again. You chose the wrong gems last time, so you won't try that combination again.
I'm pretty sure that was the exact combination that Casa got.
Right, let's try Sapphire A.
Yep.
Diamond B.
Yep.
Emerald C.
Okay, so again, we're looking for 3 crowns. Oh,
You just have time to hear the gnome yell, 3 crowns! Before the lock
hey,
gets open.
second.
As the
Second
heavy
try.
door swings slowly outwards, the gnome rushes towards it, hurling the glass ball at your feet. Green gas escapes from the broken glass. I'm afraid we'll need to test your luck to see if you
If this
avoid
rolls a
inhaling
12,
it.
I'm going to be really pissed off.
Oh, you get 1
Covering your
success.
nose and mouth with your hand to avoid breathing in the gas. You follow the gnome through the open door. You enter another tunnel, at the end of which is the welcome sight of daylight. Much to your surprise, you see the gnome lying dead halfway down the tunnel. A crossbow bolt protrudes from the side of his head. The gnome, in his own bid for freedom, has fallen foul of Baron Succumvit's final trap. You walk past him and out into the brilliant sunshine. As soon as you appear at the tunnel exit, a large crowd begins to cheer and shout. You walk down a path lined with jubilant people towards a small rostrum, and there, sitting under a colourful bamboo umbrella, is Baron Succumvit. He looks astonished, as if he never expected anybody to come through his Deathtrap Dungeon alive. Now the secret of Fang is known. As the Baron rises from his chair, you climb the steps to the rostrum, bow down before him, and watch as his cold eyes stare at you in utter disbelief. You smile grimly as he offers you his outstretched hand. To the deafening noise of the cheering people of Fang, Baron Succumvit opens the chest containing your prize of 10,000 gold pieces. Then he places a laurel crown on your head and proclaims you the champion of Deathtrap
Dungeon.
Dungeon.
And there we go.
Nice.
Another victor, sorry. But he did die.
I did die a few times.
Another
Well,
victor
I only
of the
died
dungeon.
6 times, right?
6 and 2 fails.
So,
Just less than actually on was 7, 2 and 5 and 4 failed.
but not the best, I'm assuming.
No. Pawns that played the so kind of
Right.
not talking
See,
about
We won't talk about that, but unfortunately, the only reason I managed to do so well kind of near on that first run by getting through some of the stuff, because I actually, not really well, but I vaguely remember some of the details. Because the moment the
These
first
cheaters, chat. These cheaters.
It's not a cheating. I
Shocking
read
behaviour.
this book when like 20 years ago or something like that. All right, I don't remember it at all. The only thing I like, the moment the first picture showed up of the barbarians and elf and the knight and the ninja, I was just like, oh, I read this when I was a kid. I recognized that picture. And then that was it. Just like the only thing I actually remember was the petrification challenge. I knew it was either like 100 or 200. I knew it wasn't 150. And the mirror demon, you needed the ring for the ring of wish for that. I do remember that.
Yeah, that was the first time I saw that. So
those were literally the only two things I remembered from that, because that was like 20 years ago. Oh, well, that was good though, Butler. Thank you for having me along for this. That was great.
Yes. Before I wrap up, anything you'd like to plug? Any channels or that? Or, yeah.
I mean, I
can
would
people contact you or speak to you?
I definitely will not selfishly plug myself at twitch.tv/dragonxfangz like it's on your title card. But I mean, why would I do such a thing? It's your stream.
Fair enough. Like payment for everybody being here. Letting them plug themselves at the end of the video. So go up on YouTube anyway. But
nice.
Yes, I will probably meet you back in one of the chats, because I'll go and end stream just now and find somebody to lovely people over to it.
All right. Well, again, thank you for having me, Butler. That was great.
Yep. Thank you for playing, and I will talk to you shortly.
I'll talk to you shortly. Bye.
Cheers. Alright, chat, we're going to end it there. Fangzy managed to make it through the dungeon as well. But yeah, that is the end of this sort of like mini series of Deathtrap Dungeon. I tried a bit myself, and then I got 5 people to run through the dungeon with me. As sort of a kind of dungeon master. I didn't really have much power, but you know how it goes. But yes, let us find somebody to send you lovely people onto. Online. Probably won't be. Who do we? Callie and Rob. Callie in a while. Yes, hopefully everyone enjoyed that. I will need to try and find some other type of fighting fantasy game to play in the next wee while. But I probably will take a couple of weeks break from these kind of things just to try and refresh my mind and try and find something different. I like playing different things on like Thursdays or specific day of the week, you know, something that not everybody else plays. You know? Like I play Stardew on Tuesdays and people play that, or I play Minecraft and SCP and all that, but I like to have at least one different game out there. Do I hear more Stardew streams? That will be on Tuesdays, Dankreed. Stardew is usually safe for Tuesdays. But yes, thank you everyone for the follows and the any bits or subs for today. Much appreciated. Go say hi to Callie. I believe he's still playing Apex Legends. But yeah, go show him some love, and I will catch you guys hopefully tomorrow for Call of Duty. Hopefully I can get it running smoothly when I stream. So if not, I'll be playing it with a couple of other guys. But I'll probably tweet out about it. Oh, I'll my plugs for later on. But yeah, go say hi to Callie. See ya.